everyone. Welcome.
Hello.
Sorry, I don't have a green screen right now.
Okay.
I need to reset up my lighting.
Chaos.
So, hi. What?
I was going to say Maggie's background would be a hell of a challenge for Zoom's virtual background. I reckon we test it and see what happens.
You want to test it?
Oh God.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. It
There's a
does
mic
do
arm that's
person
in
recognition,
front
so it
and then
might
goes
try.
behind.
Chaos.
And there's a plant in the foreground. I want to see what it can do.
Oh, but they
What if
can't
it
see
just
this
picks up
side.
the plants?
The viewers can't see what's going on over here. But I do have another plant right here. Is it just... I actually have never used the virtual background. Is it in the video section?
Yeah, use the same background, but instead of you ticking use green screen or whatever, yeah.
Yep. Exact same process. One more checkbox.
Choose virtual background, and then just pick it.
Maggie in a nice cheery room while everyone else is in the grey void.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm in the geek void, so. Click up, click choose virtual background, and then right down the bottom, uncheck I have a green screen for you, and then pick any of the virtual backgrounds, and it'll just add it.
Okay.
Like that.
Oh no.
Oh, it's not
Uncheck I have a green
terrible.
Hey, got it.
Yeah.
It does person detection, so that's pretty good.
It's not
It's doing
terrible.
well with the
Yeah.
mic arm.
But you got the same thing going that I would, because I finally got the green screen where I had the halo and stuff
Yeah,
where
where
I can't
it's like
render.
this
Yeah.
part. It's because I don't.
Mhm.
When I green screen, I use a different program, so I never use this. Cool.
This right now is Zoom screen.
Oh, you're using Zoom screen?
Hmm?
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, yours looks good
Witchcraft. Thank
in
y'all.
comparison to the other
Yeah, me
ones.
too.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
I know we upgrade.
Maybe
We
the
the same week.
technologies is getting
Yeah, we
better.
both got green screens.
Mm-hmm.
I use green screen, but I always use a different program for because I want it to be like, nicer.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
The Zoom. I mean, again, see, look at that.
Yeah,
that's
it's pretty good. I guess
Yeah,
it's more about your lighting on your green screen if it's even, right?
True.
Anyways,
True.
welcome to the pre-show.
The
He rounds it
pre-show.
immediately. Success.
We survived last episode, barely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the word barely is definitely suitable there. So, hi, welcome to Roll for Repair. You streamers get to go to play some lovely tabletop RPGs. There are a few announcements today. Firstly, time zone weirdness ends next week. So time zones have been weird, as some of you might have noticed. If you haven't noticed, then it doesn't apply to you and you're fine. But time zone weirdness, if it has affected you, ends next week. So bear in mind that things will go back to their normal times as of next week. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're fine. It doesn't matter. Just
I think
Go
the
on,
rule of
continue.
thumb is if your clocks don't change this weekend, the show becomes 1 hour earlier.
But people sometimes don't know when their clocks change because digital clocks do it anyway. So
If they don't know that, then I can't help them. There's nothing I can do for them.
Yeah.
um,
I have definitely been feeling the loss of an extra hour.
yeah.
As Bentham pointed out, I've been complaining about like having trouble sleeping, and lots of people are. And like, I wonder what's wrong. And he's like, daylight savings time. It's daylight savings time is what's wrong.
I loved there was an
That's-
entire thread of Americans being like, I don't know what it is for the past like 11-ish days. My sleep's been a mess and I've got no idea why. And I'm like, guys, why is no one in this thread being like, oh, daylight savings?
Historically, it's never been an issue, but again, I guess having baked in a year of quarantine and all the stuff that's done, just like that combined with that, now it's an acid and a base. It detonates now.
Yeah. So there is like daylight savings time does offer one really good research opportunity, which is measuring how much a little lack of sleep affects people. If you look after people lose an hour of sleep at the stats and stuff for like all mortality rates for pretty much everything, including things like heart attack, incidents, etc., they shoot through the roof. Like something stupid like 30% extra people die from heart attacks just the day after you lose an extra hour of sleep. It's that important. Just 1 day of 1 hour less sleep apparently increases mortality that much. Nuts. Anyway, also obviously traffic accidents. Traffic accidents are also
am
much
doomed.
higher. Yeah. Anyway, I think I speak for everyone here when I say that's a scary statistic on a personal level. Right.
I just need
Also,
more
other
sleep,
announcements.
apparently.
Yeah. Mass Effect Mercenaries Chapter 2 is coming soon. So bear in mind the 10th of April. That is a Saturday, not a Sunday. It was originally on Sundays. It's now going to be on Saturdays. We're getting 4 episodes. We're getting a continuation. The next chapter of the story that they're currently on will be continued with the same cast, and that will be 10th of April for the foreseeable 4 weeks after that. The 10th, and then the 3 others after it. So bear in mind, it's not Sunday anymore. It's Saturday. Just okay. And that's it. Definitely no other announcements today. Nuh-uh. Okay, there's one, but it's coming at the end. So that said and done. We're going to do shilling
Announcement of announcements again.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what? I will do the shilling today.
You know what? I usually like left-handed
like
mugs because I'm left-handed, but now that I have this set up, I kind of want... I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, now you have that set up because you've got a mic arm coming all the way in from the left. I want a mic arm to come from the right, but be a little robot arm and just hand you your tea. Like, just have one there and then just the other one go...
Yes. Like Gromit style? I'd so
exactly.
love that. That'd be amazing.
Anyway, shilling time. Hello, if you want to support Row for it and make it possible that Maggie can afford a robot arm to feed her tea during shows, not coffee, it doesn't do coffee, that's not allowed, you can subscribe on our Patreon and support us and allow us to do amazing things such as paying our cast for the time and investment and energy they put into the show and, you know, being ethical. If you want to do that and support us for being, you know, ethical, we try, then you can go to patreon.com/roll for it, where you can subscribe at different tiers. For instance, there are MP3s of the show, after shows, access to player information and sheets, etc. Loads of interesting, cool stuff. If you want to get access to that, you can. There's even stuff like, I don't know, admin recaps where we talk about how the Rollford's going as a whole. Or even if you're a legend, there are legend tier games where once a month you get to be part of a little crew of people doing an RPG GM'd by a member of the Rollford cast. And that's the Patreon for you. For instance, stuff like the GM polls, they're great. I've used them occasionally to get like feedback and be like a GM, be like, hey, what should happen here? You know, I'm kind of tempted. I'm kind of tempted to do a tiny little poll right now, just
That
on Twitch.
Sound effect is like way louder than your normal mic, so it is kind of going to the peak. I do have a compressor on, but I don't know.
Let me check.
It was going
it's not
into the
louder.
red.
It's just always peaked because it's compressed up to the top.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It was definitely hitting the red.
Yeah, because it's constantly at the top of it.
Sorry, headset users.
Sorry. But you know what? Since I can do this, I'm just going to pop over to the Twitch channel. And if you're watching right now on Twitch, if you're a YouTube user, sorry, that's what you get for missing out. I'm going to just run a little poll. And what's a totally unimportant poll, just so I can get a little bit of a thing. I'm just interested. So if I create a new poll, this is one of the things that you'll often see on the GM thing.
You're making a
Vanya's spy contact provides info on Perrin's father.
Okay.
I'm going to put dad because apparently I can't spell the word father today. There we go. That easy. These polls are normally a GM thing. I just decided I wanted to do one right now. There you go. That's how this works. In addition, should I just not do that? Will it help with not breaking everything?
It's fine. It's more of like if you could turn that down.
Ooh, no, I can.
Yeah.
If I do this, is that helpful?
Oh, now it's too quiet.
Now if I do this, is this
That's
helpful?
perfect. That's good.
Okay. Anyway, if you want to subscribe on Twitch, you can do so. You get access to lovely emotes and VODs of the show before they go on YouTube. We don't know it's 24 hours because of processing time. Both of them will give you access to our Discord as well. If you want to subscribe on YouTube, you can. I think technically the term there is be a YouTube member, because subscribing is a different thing and does nothing. You can be a YouTube member. That's the thing you can do. You get some emotes and access to our Discord.
It does something.
And yeah, that's something.
Subscribe too.
It doesn't really do anything. It might make your videos appear in feeds, but it's very unlikely to, because then you have to hit the bell icon, and then you have to hit one of the 3 different bell icon options. Yeah. Anyway, I feels. Also, it's literally 50-50 on your dad or mother right now. Yeah. I see you there in
If you
chat.
keep it 50-50, does he get info on both? That's the question.
I will admit I got involved there. That it was. I voted for Dad to make it dead level for the lol. So if you want, you can ignore my vote.
If you leave it to that, I will flip a coin. The Traveler can decide.
Otherwise, you can use bits and tips. They are a good way of being able to support in a one-off method if you don't feel you want to do a long-term commitment or anything like that, or you're just like, hey, I'm supporting another way, but I'd like to support. And additionally, you can do bits and tips. Things drop down on the screen and happen. Apparently, people try to cover up my face. They never succeed, but they might. And of course, finally, if you don't support, you can just tell people about the show, retweet, share posts, etc. It really does help, and you can do that in addition to any other form of monetary support. It does help out, so thank you to all those you have, especially those of you who've gone the extra mile and made memes or art or whatever. Super helpful and really, really cool, so thank you very much for that. And that all said and done, I think it's time for a recap. And
Definitely want to surreptitiously increase the height of the cup one day so that they can't actually cover your face. And tell no one.
Also,
that does tend to cause the cup to bug out because its physics aren't designed to interact with so many bits. I have done that before, and the bits start like juddering about, like they're going crazy, and then they start pinging through solid objects, and things happen. Also, you tend to just eat CPU because it's really poorly coded. It's not meant to deal with that. I've done it before. It causes frame rate issues. So there you go. Right, was it 50-50 in the end?
It was 50-50, but I voted dead, so you can ignore my vote if you want.
No, you did vote. Someone else might have evened it out. I'm gonna have to flip a coin.
I mean, I specifically vote. Oh, I've got a package. Hang on. Been waiting for this all bloody day. It's 6 p.m. right now.
A package for you. He's been waiting for it all bloody day. Instead, let's talk about our recap. And I think, considering reasons, Dave, do you want to do the recap for what happened last episode?
I mean, we nearly got killed like lots. I did die 2 or 3 times actually, but lived. It's like that pirate, that weasel where it's like I died, but I got better. We entered the Broken Tower. This is the Broken Tower is the name of this one, right?
The Ruined Pillar.
Ruined Pillar.
You've basically got the thesaurus out on every word.
Yeah. We went into the Ruined Pillar, and things happened that were terrible. Through a lot of crazy luck, I was reduced to 1 hit point in the first room because great. But we overcame it. Then through some puzzle work and strategery and teamwork with the group here, then we went into the second room, which was also bad. That was worse. The box puzzle was the third room, right? What was the second room? The first room was the room with the circles. The second room was what? Team.
I gotta bring my notes up too.
We lost a wild Bentham. Yep. Well, I'll continue.
Second room was...
You end up fighting Perrin.
Yes, the mirror.
The mirror room. Yes. And so much so, well, the circles was the room before. We actually came back to the mirror room this time where Perrin and Vanya had managed to go through, and it was Arena and Ged, that were trapped on the other side getting beat up by everything our friends were afraid of. We managed to get through there by turning on the Empress and killing her, and turning on Vanya's sphere and destroying it as well before we got through the mirror. Again, thoroughly beat up the twins of the younger Cogdeers managing to nearly kill me again as I made it through the mirror, but hey, got through. Then we went into the room with the boxes. That was room number 3, correct? Because we skipped room number 4, right? Where we had a system of pulleys that would reveal either good things, a super happy fun time, or terrible things. We apparently drew the worst possible combination of options to have to fight all the terrible things all at once. I escaped with 1 hit point. I think most of us were less than 10 hit points, if not less than 20.
Your average party HP was like
32.
7.
Yeah, we were like all together. I think we made 30 HP as a
group. It was 30 something.
Yeah, so we were beat pretty lean, and we had one of the keys that allowed us to skip a room, which we then immediately used. There was some like shopping bazaar that looked peaceful and inviting, but we all very much noped out. We got to the middle restroom, and for the first time in our adventuring career, had to exit the tower at the midpoint, which everyone but Arena promptly forgot. So Gadden very much thinks it's like, yeah, we got a new level. All right, we won. Wait, what's wrong? Yeah, so not sure why we didn't power up. No
And
idea.
then a moment of panic where he's like, last time we came out of the tower beat to hell, it's because we broke it.
Yeah, all true.
That's
It was
true. That's
Another
true.
thing, Gadden doesn't know. Well, I mean, he knows because he's been told since then, but he doesn't remember it happening. Yeah, and we were kind of crawling out, beaten within an inch of our lives, exiting the tower. We were in there fighting from end to end the entire session. Lots of really excellent teamwork, lots of really shitty luck. Yeah.
They're all red rooms, especially the rooms that aren't red.
Yeah. I would appreciate the simple purity of just a red room at this point. You just walk in and it's just like a 7-headed ogre with like holding like a broadsword and an axe. Like, yes.
The first room was a simple red room, although it was a simple red room with bonuses, which
That makes it not simple. That's the opposite of simple. It's not.
Fair enough.
Yeah. We figured out
now
the puzzle immediately, but again, technically that was episode before last, but it was shall we say volatile in its execution.
I mean, Perrin did detonate it with you inside it, so.
True. And now we know that I don't think Vanya did Vanya reveal to us that you have to meet with some spy connections?
I don't think she mentioned it.
Yeah, I think I told you all I'm poking, like I'm asking around, but I don't think I said I had to go meet them
Right.
necessarily to everybody.
Well, Vanya has a 2 a.m. meeting. We actually don't know how long we were inside because we just kind of came out and then it was like and scene because we went in for a midnight time slot.
You went in for a 10 p.m. and her meeting was at 4 a.m. if I recall correctly.
I thought we had to be there at 10 to go at midnight.
No, you'd be there before 10, but your slot was at 10 if I recall correctly.
Okay. Well, either way, we don't
They
know.
want you
but-
there 2 hours early so you can do all the paperwork. It's
Yeah.
bureaucracy.
No, I think that's
shit.
why we had to be there at 10 to go at midnight because we didn't have to be there at 8.
Your slot was at 10, but you have to get there early. Not only to do paperwork, but also so that you don't turn up late and then block someone from using a slot and then they have to just invalidate your slot.
Got it. So Vanya has to meet with some connections of hers. Theoretically, we need to find the Veldarels somewhere here in this city. Gadden also apparently has techno-organic allies that are reaching out to him as well. He may or may not have a sibling that may or may not have been recently deceased. And I believe crawling on hands and knees out of the ruined pillar is where we should find ourselves, unless I've forgotten anything, you all.
I think that's pretty good.
That's about right.
Yeah.
All I remember is butt kicking. That's all I remember.
I don't know whose butt was getting kicked, but there was a lot of butts being kicked.
It's true. I just feel like, again, Gadden just kind of does that mental inventory of like, I'm out of everything. I have no spell slots, no rage, no wild shape. So very much would be like, we won. Yeah.
It's like you go out for the night, you go to a few pubs, and then you wake up in the morning and like, what happened? You look, you're like, how did I spend this money? Also, why do I have a balloon?
Yeah. Yeah. Although
I
the
have
balloon
no idea what happened, but
The
I'm sure it was
balloon-
not.
is a gun that Arena got.
Which brings me on to the last point. Because there has been a slight update to D&D, i.e. Tasha's Cauldron came out, which included a few new things. We've gone back and we have retconned the last ASI for Arena, so she now has the Gunner feat, which wasn't around when we first created the characters. So if you are like, hey, did something change? Yes, and it's because the core rulebook got added to, and extra rules have been added and options, and I feel it fair to be like, hey, here's an option, it's new and it affects your character, why not go for it? So that is a thing that's changed. So if you're like, hey, is something different? That's what's different. So, with that said, we join our adventurers standing out front of the ruined pillar, bloodied, hurt, battered, with many empty potion bottles on them, swords drawn, weapons just everywhere, tired, exhausted. Not literally, don't get a point of exhaustion. And also very forgetful, Arena being the only one who knows what happened.
I'm so sad.
Yeah. It's at this point, Perrin, that you hear.
Well, that was disappointing.
Like, Perrin is like, wait, and looks over his shoulders like, do you remember the tower?
I remember everything I saw in there, yes.
Huh.
It was not the prettiest experience.
Yeah, how did it go so wrong? I have nothing left.
I also feel a bit depleted.
Same here.
Arena kind of gives like a, do I tell them? And I think she proceeds to tell you what happened in each of the rooms.
That seems unlucky, even for us.
I
one of
hit
the-
you 3 times with my arrows? Oh my god.
She's got arrows sticking out of like her clothing. You can see them now.
I wasn't
as
sure
you-
who you were shooting at, but it definitely felt like you were shooting at me.
I am so sorry.
Makes sense what you said about the room with the fears, that we didn't see one for me. I'm not afraid of anything.
Arena smiles at that.
It seems like that one went as bad as it could possibly go.
As you're having this discussion, a lot of the guard nearby walk up to you. Several of them start filing into the room behind you, and one of them just approaches you, relatively blonde hair, and it says, "Would you mind moving over there? Just we need to let the next group in."
Oh,
Right,
sorry.
yes. Yeah, we haven't failed before.
Oh, well, it happens quite a lot of the time. You did the smart thing by getting out, looking by, gestures around at all of you being horrifically injured.
Yeah, we're all still here.
Well,
Look,
not all
you got
of
your
us.
life.
Arena says, kind of sad.
Oh,
Right.
If you
Four
look
people,
around, there's
right?
no mecha Pietro. There's no
yeah, he's
Panko
looking at the
left.
inventory. It's like there's 4 people. Arena, Gatton, Vanya, Perrin. Am I missing someone?
Oh, we lost
It
our
is,
mechanical thing.
it is my panko
Oh.
bot.
I'm not sure what one of them is, but that is rather unfortunate. Either way, you can collect your belongings. I believe you've got a locker, and the next group's ready to go in. So, hard luck. If you want to make another appointment, you can feel free to do so at the front desk.
What is the hour?
It's a little after 11 p.m.
It only took an hour inside.
It is probably a good idea for us to schedule our next one.
Yes. We should at least get on the waiting list.
Well, I have to pay this time.
I look to Vanya and I say,
This is the first time we've not finished the tower before.
I'm sure we all fought well, though. Looking at everybody being clearly beat to hell.
I don't know about that.
I look over my shoulder at the Sword of Kib to see if he has any input on how well we fought, but I have my suspicions. Does the Sword of Kib say anything?
Perrin. Warriors fight proudly and nobly where they can. But when you are fighting for a losing cause, there is no dishonor in coming back to fight another day. You would have surely perished had you pushed on.
I didn't expect that from you. That's very,
I wish you
logical.
had done better in the first place, but given your inability, I'm sure there was no other option for one such as yourself.
Fair enough. I shake my head and make sure we get out of the way of everybody.
They seem to be rushing through some people. Like, you can notice that there's a lot less ceremony to this than every time you've been in. It's been a lot more paperwork and formal. They seem to be rushing through a group of people who, like, very hastily, like, oh, surprised. You see them kind of, like, wide-eyed. You'd probably guess they're probably a lower level than you. They look like, very much like they're probably poorer than most adventurers you see. Like, ragtag put together armor and weapons. All 4 of them are just, like, equipped with cheap breastplates and side swords or, like, hatchet. Someone's got a crossbow. They're being
Oh,
rushed
dear.
in.
Those poor guys, they've just been stood there waiting. They're like, it's all right, we got a couple of hours yet. And then some, like, completely battered, bleeding level 5 stumble out like, we didn't make it, it was too difficult. They're like, right, off you go, lads. Good luck.
Actually, they're from the pool. We tend to offer a pool system where if people want to wait outside, if, someone gets done early, then they get to take the slot and you're done, a few hours before we expected you to be out. So they get a cut price entry, but they have to wait out front, and there's no guarantees anyone's going to have, be out early. So you kind of give them an opportunity.
Said something more normal than if it's being responded to in character.
But yeah, you probably notice like people hanging around the front of the tower.
What is it called when you're waiting on a plane? Like you wait.
Yeah, exactly
for an
that.
open slot on a plane. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember what it's called, but it's exactly that.
There's a name for it. I'm just derping.
Yeah. Where you just sit there and like, I'm just going to get on my other plane that's got seats left because they'll do cut price. Yeah. They're effectively like doing standby for the tower. If you've ever been out front of a tower, there's always some people just hanging around hoping for a standby slot.
Why was it so hard for me to remember? Oh my God.
Don't worry, I had the same thing, a bit of the exact same things.
Because we haven't traveled in a year. That's why.
We haven't used planes in ages.
Because of COVID.
What are these planes of which you speak?
It's like when you're on a computer, your computer's like, you haven't used this file in a while. We're going to just compress this file and put it in this area you never use. Your brain's just done that.
It's true. I used to fly like every other month, if not more than that. It's crazy.
Definitely a partition now.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, you file out, you collect your bag of holding. They do make you go through the checking your mark process. Just to confirm, you are all the same.
Didn't get anything.
Yeah.
Confirm we failed.
Rub it in our faces a little bit more, man.
Yes, awkward moment with like, let me just check, and yep, exactly the same.
Your complete failures. Got it.
But I got a
cool gun. As you're going out, though, like, if you seem overly glum, like some of them will just mention like, better you went out than you didn't, get out at all. It happens quite a lot of the time. Sort of other things like that. Like this does happen quite regularly, and it's considered a smart move to know when you're done. And by the look of you, everyone notices that you were done. So no one is giving you jip for it, right?
I have 9 HP, y'all.
Yeah.
I have 1.
Like
one.
A frazzled little mess of a gnome.
You're better off by like relatively.
Yeah. We have to
so,
be very careful going back to the end, because if we get robbed now, we all die.
We take 1 dagger of damage and we're all dead in the street.
Hey, look, 4 goblins show up. No. How to make level 5 scared of goblins. But as you find yourself out front of the tower again, having made your way to effectively the gate that wards off the tower from the rest of the city, not even midnight. Vanya has 5 hours till her meeting.
Jeez Louise.
Arena's gonna go see Pietro and just like lay in the bed, like sprawled out.
Yeah, because you got a normal bed, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a normal bed, remember?
So,
except for no one can lift me up into the bed now. I don't have Pangobot, so I have to
You get like a rope and pipe.
I could still put you up in the bed. It's
fall
fine.
out of bed and die from fall damage.
That is true. This to be the day. I must say, Gettin doesn't sleep, but this is the closest you're ever gonna see him get to it. Like, put you in bed and be like, boom, boom, boom. No.
Okay. So you want to head back to the Cunning Warlock?
I do, for sure. I need sleep. I'm messed up.
Although I do look at Vanya and say, we are depleted, but will you require assistance going to your meeting? I will come with you. I do not require sleep if necessary.
I should be okay. I don't anticipate it being violent, but I guess stranger things have happened. But I should be okay. Thank you, though.
Good. Please be careful, or at least, if something goes wrong, give us some clue of where to find you.
I will.
very much. If she's like, no, I got this, it's just like, like
Yeah, I don't think I can have a long rest, but I definitely will try to take a short rest and just chill for a bit before I have to go. And I think I was told to meet back at the church, correct?
Back at the square nearby. It wasn't at the church itself. I think it was a square nearby, and you're gonna meet at the same like bench or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll let everyone know that's where the area I will be in, you know, in case like I'm gone for like a wild amount of time and they want to come looking for me. I'll let them know where I'll be.
Sure. So if everyone wants to get a short rest, you are welcome to a short rest. Arena, you get to your room, you realize that you can't get up to the bed, but Pietro is there. I imagine that in this time, Pietro, did you leave Pietro on the desk or on the floor? I know you gave him books, but did you give him the books and then leave him on the desk, or did you give him the books and leave him on the floor?
Wherever he wanted to be, so...
Probably the floor, because he wouldn't be able to get off the desk.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So as you walk in, you notice that like some spare linen has been acquired somehow, and he seems to have draped off the under of the bed and effectively made it into kind of like a bunk bed. He's going to sleep on the floor underneath, but it's like now like there's a fabric hanging from it, and there's like a little hole jaggedly cut in the front, like a little kind of mouse hole type style. And as you look in, you can see like a tiny little candle that looks like it's been shaved off of a normal candle and is kind of lighting underneath, and you can see Pietro just like looking through one of the books, although he has to scamper across the book to read the lines because they're so far away.
I love him.
And then
Hello. Did you you're back so soon. You don't look so good. What happened?
It did not go very well.
Oh. Is everyone okay?
Well, almost everyone. I lost Pengobot, so
No. Oh,
we'll
you
have
can
to
just make
build a
another-
new one.
That's okay. I'm sure this time you'll build it and it will be better, and it will be even like more refined than the last.
I will have to come up with a new design, but I am too tired to think about it right now.
Oh,
Which I don't think I've ever been this tired before.
oh. I'm sorry. I'm sure you'll do better next time. Do you want me to go order you some drink? I've been talking to one of the barmaids and she was very helpful.
What did you talk to her about?
Oh, well, we were talking about towers and how she'd always wished to go in a tower. And I said that I wanted to go in a tower as well.
Maybe you could go in the tower together.
I need to go talk to her. Do you want a drink? I can get you a drink.
No, I think I should probably just sleep. How did
Okay.
the reading go?
Oh, slowly. It's difficult to turn the pages.
Oh, maybe I could make you something for that. Like a grabber.
I'm thinking, you know those like
Lift
hand
pickers,
grabber
yeah.
things that grab things, but make like a little tiny one? Oh.
Okay. I'm gotta get her before she gets off her shift. So that
She
we
kind
can...
of just like looks under the bed and she's like,
I like what you did here, though.
Oh, thank you. I don't know how fireproof your bed is.
Yeah, you should probably not put fire near it.
Okay. When I have a level in the tower, I can use the light cantrip or dancing lights. If I end up being a spellcaster.
That is true. I've seen people do those type of things before. For me, I just make these.
and she like pulls out like a little flower light and tosses it under like in there for him.
he grabs it in both hands and
Now
like,
someone else's is turned off.
and then starts to like grab like a bit of thread that he seems to have like pulled out from some of the linen earlier, wraps it around the end, and then throws it over one of the slats and starts pulling it, and it just goes up like a lamp, like a light shade, and they're now hanging from the underside of your bed.
Oh. I want fan art of that. That's so cute.
Yes. Thank you. Blows the candle out.
Marina like takes it and moves
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
That is probably
I'm-
better.
Yeah. I'm gonna go find the barmaid and ask if we can team up, and then we just need to get 2 more people because the optimal number is 4. Although we could probably do 3 or 5. You're gonna find some more people who want to do towers. Also, then we have to find money. Also, I've been reading, and maybe I could do some buff spells so that I don't get murdered by the tower.
If you
Oh.
save enough money, you can also have other people buff you too.
Oh, that's a good idea.
But it is expensive.
Runs over to a quill and pushes it up with both little like pangolin claws, and then starts jotting it down like this with the full-size quill. Jots down your idea on like a little sheaf of parchment he's obviously been making notes on.
Hi, thank you. Okay. I'll be back soon. How are you gonna get into the
Careful.
bed?
I probably should get Gatton to help me.
Oh, maybe you can do what I tried to do earlier. I wasn't able to do it. Maybe you can.
He runs over to like little chest of drawers that's near the end of your bed. It's like maybe like 2 foot away.
Oh, like pull out the drawers and step
like
on them.
he's like trying to pull on one of the drawers and it won't open. But if you open it, you can probably climb up the drawers as stairs and then leap from the dresser onto the bed.
Sounds dangerous.
It's within the normal distance. You don't have to check to jump. Put it that way.
Okay, then I will do
But
it.
it's definitely a leap for you. It's not a risky leap, but it's a leap definitely. You have to exert yourself a little bit.
Okay.
So we see like Arena climb up onto the top of the cupboard, jump and faceplant in the bed, and then probably fall asleep straight away as soon as
She's
she
just like
gets
her
in.
arms and legs are spread out, and she's just like
Ah.
sleeping.
Okay. Meanwhile, Perrin, Gatton, anything you want to do?
I think Perrin just passes out in his room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should read my dream book some more. Is there anything in that I've missed so far?
I mean, there's a lot you missed earlier, which you just didn't have time to read. You're skimming it, but you can go through it. And again, the gist is what I gave you earlier, but you just start filling in some of the blanks.
Yeah, I'll short rest while flipping through my dream book and being like, this is weird.
Okay. In which case, if anyone wants to get a short rest, they're welcome to.
Yep.
What if I want to get a long rest? E? Are you foreshadowing that I won't be getting a long rest?
Anything's possible. I don't know what you're talking about. Put it this way, Vanya's going out, and I'm not sure like what that's going to result in. Also, I need to save a ladybird. Give me a sec. Ladybird saved.
Oh my god, what is this?
You're doing really well at that hit point thing. There we go.
That'll do. I'm at 40 out of 45. Spent 4 hit dice out of 5.
Yeah.
Let's see.
By the way, you still have the aid spell ongoing. That lasts 8 hours.
What's that do again?
Your hit point maximum is
5
currently increased by 5.
Extra HP, yeah.
40's fine. I got my teleportation
You know,
back.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. too.
I point out to Vanya, if we take the short rest first, holy crap, again, 1 hit point. God, I literally died essentially 5, 2, 4, 5 times in inside of that tower. If we take the short rest first, I will let me double check something, sorry. Because it's either rage or wild shape that comes back over the short rest, and I always mix up which one it is.
Wild shape, maybe.
Wild shape comes back. Yeah, rage is long, wild shape is short. If we take the short rest, I could still come with you as like a cat or something, at least be in the area. So
Yeah, that might be nice, just to have other eyes in case something happens.
yep. I'll do that then. Let me
I
do
spent all my hit dice. I'm scared. And I'm still not at max HP.
I got a really good roll with my first hit die that set me on a good trajectory. So
18.
I've got one left. So
27.
we only get back
Oh.
like 2 per long rest, right?
Half running down, so 2 hit
Half your
die, yeah.
total, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so we get 2.
You know what? I'll spend them all. Screw it. All right, because I'll get some spells back. All right, so that's all 5. So 21, 27, 34, 41. Is that what that math's up to? 9, 12, 6, 7, and 7? 6. I got back that many. Whatever that number is. I'm gonna yeah.
I think that's right.
41.
My brain's also
Yep.
coming out of my ears.
Yep.
9, 12, 6, 7, and 7.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, 3:30 or whatever it is rolls around. You are in the Cunning Warlock, Vanya, catching, I don't know, like half a long rest of sleep before you have to head out, I guess. We now have a map for Near Earth. I will make it more colorful and add points of interest, but for the moment, the map is done. You are in the Cunning Warlock, which is in the district of Shadowgate, just below Tower Way. The temple is over in Imperial View, which is here. So you can make your way there without too much trouble. There is definitely a lot of guards around the gates you have to go through into the inner city. It's about a kilometer and a half walk. But no desperately big threats or anything like that. Like, there's definitely people on edge as it's nighttime in Shadowgate. And you get to your allotted meeting. As you're there, you notice one of the lightning rail trains go overhead, and there's the sound of and it sounds like kind of a lightning bolt discharging as this huge metal engine, followed by car upon car upon car, shoots over past you at relatively high velocity, going to the station. You find yourself in a pretty empty courtyard. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. Benches out front.
Guess I will sit on a bench and just try to act natural at 4 a.m. But just kind of, just sort of sit and look around and see if I see anybody. Because I think in my brain, I'm not assuming I'm going to see the same person visually.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm not, yeah.
To be clear, do you want me to literally be with you or just be nearby? Because I figure you might not want me to hear all of your meeting too. So
I think that nearby would be, I feel like she would immediately know that something's up if I had a creature with me that I didn't have before. So I think nearby is probably better.
all right, then I'll be a cat then.
Okay. And where are
chilling
you
nearby.
positioned?
Actually out of earshot. I'll respect the fact that she's trying to do her thing.
Yeah.
Just
within shouting range, seeing come if there's trouble, but outside of talking range.
yeah.
Like
And
the
where I
edge of
can
the
see,
square.
where I can have eyes on her, but I mean, I just look like a cat, sitting on a barrel or something.
Oh yeah, it's a large square, so you can be kind of at the edge, no problem.
Yep.
So as you sit down, you hear a sound from next to you. Vanya. You look around.
She just appears.
Nope, she's apparently not there. But you hear a sound.
Hello. Can I just reach my arm out in the direction I hear the sound?
Yeah, immediately you reach your arm out. It seems to touch a person.
Interesting.
Yes, it comes in useful.
What have you got for me?
I have some information. How did your tower run go? I heard you had to leave halfway.
I actually don't remember, but according to my friend Arena, it went very badly.
Well, even I've had to leave a tower halfway before. It happens. Unfortunately, I have some bad news.
What's wrong?
We're going to need you elsewhere.
Where?
This relates to your friend's parents. And you see just next to you, there's what appears to be a sheath of parchment bound up with some twine, thick leather wrapping around it to protect it from any rain.
I'll open it, or should I open it? I guess I don't. I guess I kind of give a look that's sort of
look through the top
asking.
without unwrapping it. Like look through the top just quickly at the paper.
Yeah.
It seems to be some like witness reports or like descriptions by a third-party observer describing an individual who is talked about as a half-elf of Sun Elf descent, who seems to spend a lot of time at a pub, known for resistance activities and anti-Lumerian Empire sentiment. There also then appeared to be a few like rundowns of the pub and reports on what the Lumerian Empire currently know about the pub themselves. It seems that the Lumerian Empire have no idea that there's any resistance activity based around there, and that the assessment by the operative is that they're in very, very early stages being resistance. They haven't really done anything of note so far, but it's kind of just a group of people with a shared sentiment who are more likely to get themselves in trouble and get themselves hanged than actually cause any major problems. That seems to be the assessment, at least for a quick browse.
I think she glances at that and then goes, "What do you need me to do?"
More precisely, something we don't want you to do. We ideally don't want you and the Sable Eye getting mixed up in what could possibly be a revolution against the Lumerian Empire. We're worried about giving them a reason to attack the dead cities. Now, a friend of Arena's is still a friend of ours, and we wouldn't want you to quit immediately, but at some point soon, we do have other tasks we need you for, and maybe once the Knights of Andorra are done, you can come back to them. But for now, we have no wish to give the Lumerian Empire reason to believe that we are supporting or in any way favorable of a resistance movement against them. However, if you happen to point Perrin in the direction of his father and stop his father from doing something stupid, we would not be opposed.
So, send Perrin in the right direction, then slink off as not to dirty our hands.
The other of our orders, they are the ones who deal with clean hands. We are the ones who understand that sometimes hands do need to be dirtied. We are the ones that deal in shades of grey. You're well aware.
Have you heard anything of my sister?
Not recently. She came south. She's definitely been here or in the vicinity.
So I suppose this is all I can take for now. I kind of hold up the parchment.
For now. But we have interest in where your sister could be. And you are one of our better operatives outside of the dead cities. We would have interest in sending you after your sister, after you leave your friends.
I'd like that very, very much.
Then I'll put in a request. Officially, I can give you a day or two to say goodbye to your friends and relieve you of your current assignment. What have you happened to do with those few days? Not something that the Sable Eye are overly concerned with. It is not our jurisdiction, but make sure that Perrin, Narina, and even Gatton don't do anything stupid.
I can
After
do that.
We'll see if we can get you on Mash's tail again.
I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Chin up. Everybody has to leave the tower at some stage.
I think with that, Vanya just gets up and walks towards where the cat is. Assuming that I can't see her. You know, I don't know if she's staying or going, but yeah, I think Vanya tucks away the parchment and goes over to the cat and offers a shoulder to walk back and actually go to bed.
Okay.
Just sort of like hop up like it's nothing, you know? I
Give
am the
some
guitar.
scritches. I like when you're my cat.
Yeah, like Wince is just slightly still injured. Like I very much look like that beat up wiry cat that I was last time.
Oh no.
But kind of can't help purring anyway. It just sort of comes with the form, you know? And yeah.
Okay.
Nuzzle up and enjoy the ride.
So,
I will say via the psychic crystal though, was your meeting successful?
I believe so. I think I have a lead to give Perrin on his father. I'm not so sure about his mother, though. And I've gotten further information on where I'll be needed next, which is always good.
Will your travels take you far from here?
I don't know, but I hope they will take me in the direction of my sister. And whether she be near or far, I suppose. As far as I know, she's more near than far, so maybe I will still stay close.
Well, you were in pursuit of your sister, and she appears to be in pursuit of us, so perhaps our paths will cross again sooner than later.
I hope they do. My path has been brighter since crossing with all of you.
We still owe you at least one successful tower run, I think.
You do owe me that.
Although I do not recall what happened inside, perhaps it is you that threw off our combination. The three of us had 100% success rate previously.
You know, now that you say that, I might be the bad luck charm. You're right.
Very much give her the cat headbutt.
Yeah, I do a rub.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that's it. Yeah, we just head on back.
Yeah. And I assume that like Arena and Perrin are sleeping. So I don't think I need to like wake Perrin up with this information, but I'll go, try to get a long rest in and talk to him in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Either way, he'll need to recover his strength.
Yes.
You go back to the pub. On your way back, as you're leaving, only about a couple of blocks. There isn't such a city block design here, but it's a roughly urban sort of blobs. A couple of streets over, there is a small section that seems to be cordoned off with like a illusionary tape, kind of just a couple of floating signs in midair that just say, "Please stand back." And you can see there are a few Lumerian Empire soldiers around with several in sort of these long, heavy leather coats, and there's a body splayed out on the ground.
Perhaps we should get a closer look.
Yes. Where is this at? Is that our pub? No.
It's a couple of streets over from your pub.
Oh. Yeah, I'll do a little, per Gatton's request, do a little bit of a wait a little closer as we're walking by.
Sure. If you want to roll
See how
perception.
close we can get without, yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple of people who are hanging around, like looking, rubberneckers, but the guards are not letting anyone pass the signs. But if you want to make a perception roll, Natural 1.
Oh, that's
It's
a
just
natural
bit
1,
too
baby.
dark.
Yes, hang on. I got my kitty senses. I think I have advantage.
You have dark
on.
vision as a cat, yeah.
Yeah, I think I have advantage because of my senses too.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do not have a sheet for the kita. I only have the sheet for when I'm doing a wolf.
Just give your perception a roll advantage. I'm pretty sure you're right on that. Cats do have advantage, I think.
Right. Let's see.
22. Yeah, your cat senses and being lifted by Vanya gives you a definite vantage point. You can see right into where they're clustered around, and that body does appear to be clad in the what appears to be the garrison kind of attire. Not the Lamaran legionary, but the more local levy soldier who are raised from near Earth, and seem to be generally lower level, less well trained, less well armed and armored. They're wearing this kind of heavy leather and cloth armor. You can see like the jacket and the embroidery and stuff. They seem to have, from what you can tell, been stabbed or shot with like a crossbow bolt. Like there is definitely like blood coming down and some sort of puncture wound on their back. You only seen that briefly as like one of them lifts them up and looks and then puts them down again. But it seems like they were maybe killed and the body then has been like pushed off to the side into one of these darkened alleys. And then these guys, these investigators and soldiers pulled the body a little bit out to have a look. But there seems to be a dark alley to the side.
Is there anyone that is sort of like standing there observing, like they're not doing the menial work, but like perhaps they might be more in charge? Not necessarily the number one person in charge, but just someone who looks important.
Okay. Make an insight roll.
Like I'm basically like I don't know how well this translates, but I'm looking for like a detective on the scene, but not the captain, essentially.
You're looking for someone in the know, but who isn't leading an investigation or anything. Like you're looking for the person who's in charge of securing the crime scene, but not the person in charge of the crime scene kind of thing.
That is exactly who I'm looking for.
24. That's perception. If you can give me an insight, sorry.
Oh, sorry. All right. Well, that I have less.
It's a pretty low roll, or maybe not that low.
Found a way to make it low.
So there is mostly it's the Lamaran legionary around, and the few in leather seem to be probably from the bearing. You're not sure who they are or what their like circumstances. Well, there does seem to be someone who is chatting occasionally with a few people who seems to be of the local garrison who is just watching the cordon. And they are also relatively close to you, and you probably guess that they're probably the person to talk to. You're not sure how high up or not they are, but they're not Lamaran legionary, and they're not these plainclothes peoples who are in like the heavy leather armor. So
that actually is perfect. Via the psychic crystal, I want to say to that person, Pektar has sent us here to reinforce you. Do not look around. Do not betray my presence. What has happened here?
Okay. So this half-elf who is in the attire of the local garrison kind of stiffens and like eyes twitch very briefly. Make a deception roll. I'll modify the DC a little bit based on
Don't screw it up.
the intro you
And
have.
then come on, RNGesus, don't mess with me this time.
Natural 1.
Oh no.
And no, that's
Wait,
a 4. It's a 4. I did.
Wait,
I
did the
have.
NPC roll a natural
Oh,
one?
it's a 4.
Yeah, I have nothing.
Still
I
a
have nothing
4
to
though.
deception.
Two browsers up. It has a 4 on the dice on this browser, and this browser has a 1. The D20s are different on the different browsers. What?
Well, on my screen, it's a 4.
Resolution.
Chaos
Maybe
On my
it's
screen,
rolled
it's a
more or
4.
something.
Yeah, on my
Yeah.
screen, it's a 4.
Oh, it's definitely a 4. The dice log is the true answer. The 3D roller is an estimate.
No, I'm
Like,
saying
it doesn't-
the
Chaos
3D roller
theory.
looks like a 4 to me too.
Oh, it looks different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
I think it's because this screen is a 4K and it has a different rolling area, so the dice is rolled more on the rolling area.
Oh.
That's weird.
Weird.
It's
Yeah.
actually defined by the physics, not the. I thought it was
Yeah.
the RNG, and then that generates that dice illusion, but it really is the
tries to,
dice.
It tries to,
Oh.
but then it runs the simulation back, I think, and the simulation can change depending on a few factors. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
Yeah,
but
I notice it
the
happens
true one
when
is
you
the-
roll multiple dice, that 2 dice will hit each other and then
Yeah.
roll to the wrong thing.
Yeah, the dice colliding is something it doesn't account for either.
Yeah, I can see
Anyway,
that.
she stiffens a little bit, looks around. Make a performance check with advantage to perform like a cat.
All right. I'm like, what would parents say? Blah, blah, blah. I'm in charge. Let's see.
20, natural 20.
Ooh.
You definitely, like, her body language doesn't change, but you see her head tilt and look around.
I said, do not give away my position. Report.
1 second. I need to just calculate something.
This is amazing.
Okay. Make a deception check at disadvantage now since you failed the first one.
Oh, but that's a 20 on the performance. Come on.
It allows you to perform like a cat. She doesn't notice where this voice is coming from. Like, you're a very convincing cat.
Very convincing cat. I don't need this. Yeah.
Even the disadvantage, even if it was advantage, you'd have got 6.
Maybe it's just not very intimidating. It's like, meow.
Yeah. Full Earth the kid.
She doesn't say anything. And she just looks around, but she doesn't say anything. She doesn't also seem to call to any of her colleagues nearby.
Well, then I give up.
Okay.
Screw Orange Jesus.
Yep.
I feel like if I rolled so low, I feel like, if anything, I just want to know, like, what the body looks like, but I don't think I can even grasp that, correct?
No, you rolled so low. It's kind of hidden in a shadow for you.
Just because I feel like every time the psychic crystal is used to me, Gatton is who begins it. Can I begin a conversation?
No, he has to begin it. You can only reply if he asks you.
Oh, okay.
I would probably tell her that I tried to get some more information, but she's not talking. Like, I mean, I would reveal that I tried.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I guess I would respond and be like, should we move on? I can't see anything.
Yes, we should go. Don't want to call any attention to ourselves as strangers in the area. And
all right,
also, you've got crossbows.
I look down at my sheaths and I go, and nod, and I'll keep walking us back home.
Okay.
All of that, I get the 20 to look like a cat, but not to actually advance the narrative. Screw RNG says.
Okay.
But you're a really good cat.
I'm very convincing. And I got the tremble down. It's the wiry old cat
It's
now.
the purr
Yes.
as well. It's really difficult to imitate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's from the chest, not the throat. Common misconception.
Okay. Yes, I figured out what happens now. You go back to the Cunning Warlock. Okay, you can go to bed.
I don't like this vibe. What does that mean?
Vanya, as you're going to bed, you're busy, taking off your crossbows. I don't know if you take off your armor. D&D normally just lets you sleep in armor, but I don't know. Narratively, sure. Make me a perception check.
I get a 1 again, I swear. $25.
Okay. Let me check something.
What's weird is that time no dice rolled for me.
Yeah, it depends on who's got it checked. Sometimes you have to check it and whatever. So you just, as you're literally going to sleep, like your eyes are closing, you just catch the glimpse out of the window of a figure crouching across the rooftop opposite the Cunning Warlock, seemingly staring at your window. Very like dark grayish, dark blue, dark green, or whatever it is, kind of cloak that very much pulls up over the front. Kind of can't see the face at all. Very much cloaked in shadow, almost like barely detectable. But there is someone there who is looking at you.
Creepy. Creeper in the window? Like,
So,
it's peeking
yeah.
into her window?
I think they're on the roof across the street,
But, like,
looking at my
out your
window.
Also, the dice did roll just like 10 seconds later.
Okay.
Is my light out, or can they like, am I very visual right now?
I mean, you're probably just going to sleep, so I imagine your light is out, and that's the reason you notice them now. Like, your dark vision is starting to kick in as it's no longer exposed to the candle you had on, and now you can see across the street.
How far away is across the street? Feet-wise,
probably
for a
only
spell.
about like 30 feet.
I cast Hunter's Mark on that person.
Ah,
What level?
Second, why not? I'll get fancy. I don't
Second
think-
doesn't make
yeah.
a difference. It only makes a difference at third.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. Then first, I'll just use the first
Okay.
level spot.
Let me check.
But yeah, I want to see if I can Hunter's Mark that person.
Yeah.
And then
It's verbal, so yeah, that's fine.
I just like, yeah, I think I probably have like some sort of elvish thing I say, and then yeah, I want to just cast Hunter's Mark on them. And do they move? Like, do they move at all?
So
Yeah, I don't
can
know
close
that
your
you know
eyes,
that-
you can pretend to go to sleep, and you will know exactly where they are. So yeah, make a performance check to pretend to be asleep. Advantage, because this is relatively easy.
I want to see if they move in closer, and if not, then I want to follow them. Ooh, a 5.
5. They don't appear to move closer, and over the course of the next like 30 minutes, they are perfectly stationary, and then they start to slink off.
Yeah, I think I just go like, oh, screw a long rest. I want to follow this person.
I mean,
Okay.
do you bring your kitty friend with you? I'm still a cat for an hour.
Do you want to come?
Of course I
I
wanna
walk in the
come.
hallway. Are you there? Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
You would be just out of kitty form by now because it was 30 minutes after she went to bed, 30 minutes of being in bed.
I can only do that twice, so I'll come with you as in Gatton form because I might have to turn into something more useful. So
Yeah, I think I'm like leaving, and if you hear me, I'll be like, no time to explain. Something's fishy. Let's go. If I see you.
like I mean, just a sword goes back up and just walks after you, doesn't say a word.
Okay. Feel free to try and do a follow. You don't need to make any survival rolls. You know the direction and distance just from Hunter's Mark. Are you planning to hold really far back, or are you planning to follow and notice what they're doing?
I want to follow and notice what they're doing, and if they see me, I'll chase them. I want to know who was looking in my room. I think
Okay.
I just assume it's gonna be my sister, and so that's why I'm like, I'm gonna freaking find you. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Okay. Feel free to make me stealth rolls.
Do you have any? Do you have enough spell slots left to pass without trace?
I think it's concentration, right? Isn't
pass
pass
without
without trace
trace.
concentration?
I believe you're right.
One of them isn't. You can do both. I don't know which isn't, but
It says they're both concentration
Oh,
for
the
me.
concentration.
oh, then never mind. If it says it, then they are. And I
Yeah,
am
so
mistaken.
I don't. Yeah, I think I thought that too, and I was like, I think we need the mark more than the. I mean,
Yes.
at least I do.
You are completely right.
Ooh, I got a
So
25.
Your median is 15. Okay. As you start to catch up to them, and you can see them kind of like coming off of a roof nearby, seems that there was like some roof access there, and they're coming down and about to like head back down an alleyway. They stiffen momentarily, and then they start to like break into a brief like trot. You can see them kind of speeding up.
I'll speed up to match.
Yep.
Okay.
Me too. If I get within range of the psychic crystal, let me know because I will say something.
Yeah, the psychic crystal's range is really short, so.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But okay, as you go around the corner, please make perception checks.
Does she get advantage because the hunter's mark lets her know where the person is?
Yeah.
I don't, but does she?
No, just don't make a perception check. So 13, I will ignore that. But for Gatton, 19.
Yeah.
Gatton, you as you two get around the corner, you can't see where this person has gone. But Vanya, you know that they are just up about 3 meters and they're right there, holding still. And as you look, now you know where they are, you can kind of see that directly 3 meters above you, it isn't a shadow of some sort of beam that goes across between the two houses. It's actually a person who is spread between the two buildings, one hand on each, and who just seems to blend into the background. Like, as you look, it's very hard to, like, actually focus on them. You can kind of feel that your eyes are kind of just passing off them as you look.
I think
Gatton, you are within... You are in range of talking now.
I don't look at it, so I act like I don't know what's up. But I do say via the psychic crystal, we just want to talk to you.
There's definitely hesitation. And, like, you catch the very momentary stiffening of muscles as if someone's tensing in case combat occurs. But they don't seem to initiate. They hold still.
Technically, she hasn't told me why we're after this person, so I can give no more information. But this time I do turn and I look right at them and I flash my eyes red and I say, please. That I say out loud.
Yeah, and I think I look up as well and I go, it's not polite to look in other people's bedrooms.
Speak your piece, Lumarian scum.
We are no... Wait, are we? Are we Lumarians? No, we're not Lumarians. Yeah, that's the Empire. We're no Lumarians.
A meeting with the Lord of the Lakes and preferential tower access. Certainly has the sniff of Lumarian scum to me.
We fought in the defense of the innocent. That gained us a certain amount of notoriety. Also, if we were a Lumarian scum, you'd be dead already.
You might
That's
try.
true.
Make a persuasion roll. Or intimidation, but get you something completely
Oh,
different.
wait, let me do intimidation because I have
It would
bonuses
get
to
you something
intimidation.
very different from what you're intending, but it would intimidate.
Well, theoretically, the dice roll was what it was. It would be 8 on persuasion. It'd be 11 on intimidation. So I'm not trying to threaten this person currently, though.
Yeah.
So. Uh-huh.
That as it might be, I don't think you're any friend of mine or mine.
We don't know who you are, so we don't know if we're friends or not.
Then why are you looking into my handiwork?
Why are you looking into my friend's room?
Exactly.
Because she was investigating my handiwork earlier.
Oh, you killed that guy. Or person. I guess I didn't see. It's very dark. You killed somebody?
Yes, and I thought it was you who was speaking to my mind.
That would have been me.
As I now realize.
I turn and I look and I say, we are simply visitors in Near Earth. We've come for the tower. But we are learning that this part, you'll hear me say out loud, we're just visitors in Near Earth. We've come for the tower. But then I switch to the psychic crystal. We've come to learn there is a great amount of injustice here that we would see set right. Because I don't know who else is listening to us.
Yeah, me yelling in the streets. You killed somebody?
Yeah, it's weird. Did he have
That's
it
more
coming?
Mackenzie than Vanya.
Right.
Whoopsies.
Screw that guy in particular. Yeah, right.
Make an persuasion roll. You've earned this.
Let's see if RN Jesus thinks we've earned this.
Can I attempt to help by saying, surely you can't hold yourself between those walls all night?
Do you have proficiency with persuasion?
You know I don't.
No.
I do not either. I have intimidation, not persuasion. I don't do talking. Perrin does the talking.
I also have
I like the
intimidation.
pause.
We're
I
being
like the
too
pause and
nice.
You're
We're
both
just-
like, no.
I also have like +5 in intimidation. So why aren't we just being mean to this guy?
It's true. When in doubt, violence.
Be that as it may, can't exactly trust someone I just met in a random alleyway. I'll do my checking. And if this is true, I'll come find you.
We do have a local with us, someone who fought for the liberation of Near-Earth. Perhaps he could explain our case more thoroughly. We can go wake him now, if you wish.
I think, just in case, I'm going to be circumspect, and I'm not going to wait around for the guards to arrive if that is your intent. If it isn't your intent, I'll come find you and yours.
Well,
You're
you
telling
know
the
we're
truth.
sleeping. So
Yes. And do we look like we need guards?
I would say everyone sleeps sometime, but that might not be true in your case, Warforged.
It would not. What should we call you?
You can call me what all Lumarian call me. My name is Whisper.
I just sort of nod and via the psychic crystal to Vanya. I just say, how long can you track them?
how long have we been following them?
Like 5 minutes before they saw you. Plus you were tracking them for like 30 minutes before that, so you got about 25, a little bit less left.
So it's only 10 total? Because I have it up to
25
an
minutes
hour.
maybe. Well, you've already been tracking them for about 35, so you've got about 25 minutes left. Technically, you could recast the spell right now looking at them, but it's verbal, so they'd probably hear you.
Yeah, I have one more spell slot without a long rest. So yeah, I could do it again if need be.
Bear in
But yeah,
mind
25
that
minutes on this first one.
you would need line of sight to be able to recast, and if you cast it right now, they would hear you speaking. It might be considered a hostile action to cast a spell at them.
Yeah, I would just tell Gad in 25 minutes or so.
I just I look at them for a second and I say, again via the crystal, I've seen this level of disguise before. Are you a moon elf as well?
I'm not exactly going to give away my identity if I don't have to. You can feel free to insight that if you want.
I mean,
Can I? Does this voice sound familiar now that it's been pointed out to me?
Insight. If it is something that's familiar to you, I'll lower the DC.
I'm hoping I'm getting all the garbage rolls out of the way now before we have to fight or something.
Yeah.
Because look at this.
Again, you really can't be certain.
It could be anybody.
Vanya, definitely, from what you can tell, the intent behind that is like, I don't want you knowing any more than you know. I need to check you out. I'm uncertain of you. I have genuine reason to distrust you, but it is definitely not Masha. You are certain of that. Unless
I do like
she's
that
doing a
now
very
every
good
person I
impersonation of
meet-
voice. But there's very few effects in D&D, unless you would know very few effects given by the towers that can cause someone to actually just change their voice perfectly. If this is a put-on performance voice, you're pretty sure you'd know is not Masha.
Every person I meet, I like tug at the hair and I'm like, "Are you my sister?"
Exactly. Are you the gatekeeper? Are you the keymaster?
Yes.
And then I just sort of put my hand on Vanya's shoulder and I say, then shall we leave this one to their work for now?
Yes. I think so. We need rest.
Do.
You get the sense as like the person sort of inclines their head a little bit that you just gained some rep with them by the fact that you just said you feel free to leave them to their work.
Yeah.
Are they still just like spider monkeying between walls while we talk to them? That's funny to me.
I do sort of like look both ways to see if like there's anybody else and kind of back out of the alley. You know, don't turn my back on them.
Yeah, I'll back out, and I'm not gonna assume we're going away because of Gadden asking me about the spell. So I just assume we're sticking here and feeling out where they're going.
Okay.
Yeah. Theoretically, you'll know where they go anywhere, at least roughly. So that's
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually, believe it or not, right before I leave, I just I take one of my good berries out and I just like put it on a nearby barrel and I say, to maintain your strength. And turn and walk out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you wish to do anything specifically for the next 25 minutes? 20,
Do
I
we
guess.
want to
after
follow them, but
conversation.
try to be more pulled back and just see if they end up somewhere?
Feel like we'll continue to get caught, but at least like know roughly where they went, even like in area, because we can get Perrin. And I will even just say this, it'd be like, if you can figure out their direction, we can return with Perrin and Arena in the morning.
Yes, sure. Yeah, then I think I'll try to stick back. Like, I don't think we need to be up there, but I just want to, yeah, maybe me and Gatton just take a moonlight stroll, or I guess early morning, the sun is coming up stroll, and just sort of try to, until it fizzles, but try to just see the direction they kind of end up going.
Sure. Make a wisdom survival roll with advantage, because now they're definitely kind of aware of this. They're going to actually try and avoid being tailed, and you get advantage from Hunter's Mark.
Yep.
It's a 16.
Okay. Let me do my... Okay. As you follow them for a little bit, like you're definitely well pulled back to make sure there's no line of sight. You get to an area of roof tile where it's definitely covered with this like very thin kind of cling film of moss, which seems to have started to grow relatively recently. And as you start moving across it, looking, you can't find any sign of tracks, despite the fact that you notice as you pull your foot up, like, you've definitely disturbed this moss. It should be very easy to track them through. But there's no way they could have come across here, but you know they came this direction. You lose the sign of their tracks and you can't find them.
Okay, we have a general direction then. They might be using dust of tracelessness or some sort of covering up thing to hide their tracks.
Yes, I would expect no less. And I turn and I look at Vanya and smile as much as I can, and I say, this has been an unusual evening, but I've enjoyed our time together, Vanya.
It's been nice. I am very tired, but
Yes.
yes.
I think we should let Perrin and Arena sleep as much as they can before we disturb them with this information. I doubt there is much more that could be done at this exact moment anyhow.
I agree. And now that the sun is coming up, I'd also like to catch some shut-eye.
Yep, head back. Although I feel like very much when we get back, when Perrin wakes up, it's when the dog's waiting for you. You know what I mean? Like that's like right here when Perrin opens his eyes.
And leaning over you when you wake up is damn scary. You all get your long rest, so feel free to reset your hit points, regain 2 hit die, and everything else you get from your long rest.
Yay.
Like the moment he stirs even a little bit, Perrin, we may have a situation.
Like he's just beginning to stir. He's like, oh, Gatton,
I love
how
that.
did you get in here?
Just like literally like so in his bubble. Like, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Noses pressing against each other.
This music is intense.
Like he reaches over to like his bedside table where the hilt of Mind Killer is. Like, what is it? What's going on? Are we? Please tell me there's no fighting.
Proceed to tell him everything. The crime scene, the what I actually tell him via the psychic crystal because I have to assume we're being spied on everywhere. But I tell him everything. The crime scene, the me attempting to talk, the finding the person, their name is Whisper, they might be a moon elf, just the full data dump in the first 30 seconds of being awake. You know, we tracked them, we lost them.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait, so hang on.
And I repeat the same thing with Arena. Also, I tell the salacious details via the psychic crystal. Because again, we don't know what ears are around.
Also, this is my interpretation. I don't know if it's right, but I'm gonna say it's Perrin's because it's funny. Perrin's like, wait, hang on. So, a near-death loyalist murdered a guard, impersonated a detective, then you impersonated a Lumeria, was a Lumerian, and then came to the inn to spy on. Oh God.
I was very effective as a cat, though.
You are getting very good at being a cat.
It's the key is the tremble slightly. That's what really convinces people, yes.
The most amusing part of this is that they thought that your voice was Vanya's mental voice from the crystal.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Well, I guess it seemed more likely than the wiry cat on her shoulder. Perhaps they thought she was a warlock or some such.
Huh.
A lot of people have ways to make their voices change too. There are spells that can do that.
Yes. So it seems we've gained the attention of both the Lumerians and the Resistance, which seems pretty standard for us if you think about it.
Now what do we do?
Well, speaking of the Resistance, Per and I have some information about your father. And did I get the impression I wasn't...
I don't like where this sentence is going.
Well, did I get the impression I wasn't allowed to... Like, can I just give him the scroll?
Give him that, yeah.
Yeah.
You very much got the impression of, yeah, we're gonna say that, yeah, you're off duty for a day or two, so do whatever you want in the day or two, but definitely don't get involved with any resistance activities because that would be terrible, and don't get caught. Also, when you do, make sure Perrin doesn't get himself in trouble.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll give that to him. I haven't opened it yet. I just like peeked, but I will give it to him.
I'll start opening it while being like, it's still a bit weird, specifically my father. What's my mother up to then? And I read whatever's on there.
What does it say? What does it say?
Arena's like, can't
Perrin
see it.
Valderel. No levels. No terror attempts. Previously citizen of Neardearth, now citizen of the Lumerian Empire. Potentially part of a resistance cell based out of the old Throne Inn in the bowels. Neardearth.
Wait, did it say... did it say Illumin? Because I thought you said Perrin, and I was very confused for a minute.
Oh, sorry. Illumin Valderel, not Perrin. You're not. No.
He did
Illumin.
say Perrin.
I also thought
For
it
the
said
first
Perrin.
time, I was like,
what?
Yeah, I was like-
initially I was like, oh, this is an old record of me, and then it's
Yeah.
gonna have
Oh,
my
no,
dad,
sorry.
and it's gonna have
I
my
meant
mom,
Illumin,
and then I was
yeah.
like, wait, no, I'm not out of an inn.
Yeah.
I mean, I am in an
Illumin
inn, but not that
Valderel.
inn.
Based out of the old Throne Inn in the bowels, which is a district just south of the city wall. It has a little bit of a rundown on him. Vaguely, all you would know: wife, question, separated, uncertain, son, no other known children, son's whereabouts, currently adventuring with Arena Cogdir, Esget and Yarsi, and miscellaneous. Currently known as the Knights of Andorra. Currently based in Neardearth. Brackets traveling.
Like reading through, I'm like, where's is this from?
Miscellaneous.
Did the Lumerian know this?
That's the very literal him rundown. It has a little bit of a psych profile, if you want to read that.
Ooh,
I mean,
that's meta. It's
Karen
like
probably will, but that's also
Okay.
maybe not. I don't know.
it's like you know
But
you have
initially,
the,
he wants to know: is this Lumarian information that's been stolen, or is this someone else's information?
Unless Vanya has told you, feel free to make an insight check with intelligence, not wisdom.
I do ask Vanya, but Insight.
You ask where it's
How
from.
do I change the?
You can't on these sheets, unfortunately. It's a little known fact of D&D is that you're free to just use skills with whatever attribute, but it's hardly ever done.
Okay. Add 1 to this then.
Okay. 14. You get the sense that this isn't like a copy of an official document. It seems to have been hand compiled by someone for a request.
Like a PI.
And probably based on observers. Beyond that, you wouldn't be able to say, but it definitely seems like someone was asked to compile a document based off of some short-term.
Yes, I'm fine with that.
All right, just making sure.
I couldn't tell that was happening. I was like, okay, I'm just vibing. I don't know what's going on.
He's weird, you know.
Yeah, I'm down.
He's doing his best.
We're back.
Okay, all right.
But I'm still in
Nope.
the red.
I'm just waiting for the crossbow to be like click, click.
Don't look at me. Yeah, no, I haven't really thought about it. But, hey,
Good,
let's do
got
it.
it. All right.
Good.
Okay.
Are we back?
That we got to refresh for it to work.
We weren't
It's
talking
me.
about anything.
Cheeky check 1 2 1 2.
Seems
Looks
good.
like we're good by it to refresh for it to work, so I've yelled that in the chat.
Yeah, my SO said he was not using any in-network, so it wasn't him this time.
They
Okay.
always
And it wasn't
say
the cat.
that.
The cat's sleeping right there.
Like,
Okay.
what if the cats are streaming?
I now have the PC right here, so the cat. But I think I'm gonna do what Ben said, like put like a little cap thing on it. But I don't think they can even fit up there now.
Anyway, I
think
guess
all power buttons
It
on
looks good now.
PC should have missile switches anyway, just
so.
because it's cool.
Because we're gonna need to intro this again. Hi, welcome to continuation. We're gonna continue the scene where we left off. So yeah, looking at that document, it appears to be kind of like someone was asked to write it up and probably did a little bit of first-party work. The most obvious thing about this is they didn't have a lot of time to write it and did a quick kind of like inventory. Is the psych profile, which just has based on a short conversation with the subject as the start. Based on a short conversation with the subject, he seems idealistic, somewhat jaded, and most likely to end up getting himself killed during resistance activities, along with most of this cell. Current suggestion is not to, and then it's just redacted.
Yeah, Perrin's like reading through like as he gets to like most likely to be killed, and then it gets to like black text. He's like, "What? It's someone blacked it out."
I assume that must be my contact. I don't know why. I'm sorry.
But there is also then a write-up on the pub, the resistance, and on the Lumarian knowledge of the 3 other effectively bits to it.
And
I was like, "What the Lumarian?" It mentions what the Lumarian know.
and
I
we know where
definitely
the
read that then.
and we know where the bowels are, right?
Yeah, the bowels are south of the city, next to the
Yeah,
wall.
down here.
So it says current Lumarian knowledge of this resistance movement is minimal to none based on what we can ascertain. The Lumarian don't seem to have an interest in this somewhat idealistic and inactive resistance cell, although this operative would indicate that they are likely to become more idealistic and more active as time goes on. They are more likely to get themselves cut short at an early stage in their development.
Perrin's shaking his head reading this, being like, "It's what I feared, but not necessarily not what I expected."
A recent shipment
alright.
of weapons ordered by this group seems to have not arrived. They're looking for funding currently.
Mm-hmm. What happened with that again? Because I was it that the captain we knew took us to Andorra was meant to deliver them, or he knew of a shipment that didn't make it?
He knew of a shipment that didn't make it, I believe. Or he
Okay,
had done it previously or something. It was like previously something had happened.
There was a failed attempt to ship the weapons, and that was the moment where Perrin was like, "Oh, what is he doing? What is he doing?" Perrin rolls up the scroll, says, "Thank you for your help, Vanya."
There's also
Definitely.
the write-up on the pub and the resistance movement, if you want to look at that.
Okay, I don't roll. Carry on reading.
Resistance movement based in the cell seems to be early, in cohesion, mostly idealistic, and mostly currently rabble-rousing and seditious talk late at night. While definitely seditious in nature and likely to provoke Lumarian ire, it isn't widespread enough or involves enough people that it's going to be caught yet. However, they are quite forceful in their language and will probably get picked up before they can develop any actual threat to local law enforcement or military assets. They did have some sort of monetary backing, although it seems to have dried up, and they're currently looking for more monetary backing to be able to push forwards their efforts. The pub itself seems to be owned by a group of people who have poured their money to buy it after the recent war, and seems to be run collectively. Meetings are held on these days at this time in the back room. The pub shuts for this. This is obviously very evident, and will probably get them picked up sooner rather than later.
Perrin's just shaking his head like they do not know what they're doing. And then he rolls it up and says, "Thank you for your help, Vanya. This was extremely helpful.
Of course, I'm glad. I'm glad it could help.
It seems you're not the only one with a relative who's got some very big ideas about righting the wrongs in the world."
I see where you got it, Perrin.
I'd like to think I'm going about it in a bit more of a careful fashion.
I'm sure he thinks similarly.
So, what are you proposing? We go to this inn to find your father?
I suppose they're not exactly keeping it secret, though our presence there could put unnecessary attention on us.
You could send someone else to talk to your father, and we could meet somewhere else.
Yeah, we could send a message and do it that way, or maybe I should just go there quietly myself.
If that is what you want.
Well,
I was kind of excited to meet your father, but maybe not so much now.
I can come surreptitiously with you as well if you wish. No one ever suspects a cute little kitty cat, apparently.
What if I shrunk myself down even tinier?
You can get smaller than this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
I was
that is a
playing
way
with
to
the
go about
spell
it.
with Pietro the other day. It was kind of fun.
Maybe we can all attend then.
It only lasts a minute.
Oh, is it there? Oh, good. In that case,
Okay, never
that's
mind.
not gonna work.
That seems not useful. I guess it's for combat cases,
think-
right?
Or if you
I
have
think
like
it's
a really
best-
tiny space you need to get through.
Yeah.
I think it's best to send a message, find somewhere else to meet.
And Lord Reducio. I am capable of sending a message if you so chose. I could get close to him as a cat and then transmit the message psychically. However, I seem to be having mixed results with this approach.
Well, I don't think some people like when there's all of a sudden a voice in their head.
Don't you pray constantly? Isn't that what all humans and sentients are hoping to experience?
You feel something. The best way I can describe this is like a pain in your stomach, but it's not your stomach. It's like something near what is considered a vital organ in your chest, but just beyond it. And you feel it tug and break. And there's a very deep and throbbing pain that shoots up into you. And you can kind of feel it push through your body. And it sounds almost like the echo of a long, drawn-out scream in the back of your head.
Who's feeling this?
Gatton.
I feel like I do the full Yoda thing. They just kind of like stumble and put my hand on my head for a second. They can like during
Yeah.
Order 66. Like,
Yeah, Perrin's mid-sentence, like, yeah, that might be a secure way of getting.
something is wrong.
Are you okay?
Mind killer.
Arena also takes out her gun now?
Gun? Question mark?
I open
You don't
my
think bullets for it.
Oh, okay.
Oh no!
pistol with me, but it's fine. It's non-lethal that way. I opened the chest compartment, which I have not shown Arena that I have this yet. And I look at the broken soul core. Is it doing anything? Is it lit up or anything?
The scorch marks have just got kind of wider, and you can see there's an extra crack on it now.
Arena will
What is that?
turn around and go over to.
What is this? Come
It's.
down here.
I do like fall to my knees because I guess it hurts anyway. Like it
can I
is difficult to explain.
Does it look like the entropic soul that he has currently?
It looks exactly like the original soul core, yeah. Except older, pitted, weathered, damaged. Like it's 800 years older, maybe. But yes.
It looks like you're an enhanced entropic crystalline soul capsule, but it looks even older than the one that I had for you.
When we were in the park, I was approached by something. It appeared like a small deer, but it clearly wasn't.
And
It-
it gave you this?
Yes. It was calling to me somehow. It said it would find me later.
And you
And I
just
look
put
at
it inside?
I did warn Baron that if something strange happened, it was because of this.
Does it look like I can take it out, or is it now like embedded in his?
Probably take it out. From what you
She
can
tries up.
see.
Yeah. I wouldn't try and stop her. I mean, she reassembled me, so I feel like she knows what she's doing. So,
Perrin places a hand on Gatton's shoulder and casts protection from evil and good.
Do you want me
Go
to
in
take
chat.
it out if it's hurting you?
I don't know that this is what is hurting me so much. I'm feeling what it's feeling. And I'd kind of touch one of the scorch marks and I'm like, whatever is happening to it is getting worse somehow.
Well, maybe we try to take it out, and if that makes you feel better, then we know it's something wrong with it.
Could I attempt to use the psychic crystal to see if there's any sort of consciousness in the soul, entropic soul crystal? Like, is there a consciousness there
There
to?
is a target within range that you can see. You could. So if there is a soul in the core, you'd be able to contact it. You can attempt to use it. Yeah.
I say to you all, I'm like, I'm going to attempt to contact whatever's in here. And I very much pull out the sword of judgment, kind of put it on the ground in front of Perrin.
I'll put a foot on it.
Yeah.
Arena will back up and hold the crossbow.
And I look up and I say, if this is one of my siblings, I don't believe it would try and harm you, but it's been through a lot. And I try to see if I can talk to any sort of consciousness there.
You reach out and like brush your mind against it as if you would like make contact with another soul. There's nothing there. But it somehow seems even more devoid than when you tried the other day to like connect with it. It seems somehow inert to the point almost of being more inert than most objects around you now.
But there was, even in its absence, there was more there than before. Something is still harming this somehow. The scorches are expanding and it seems more inert.
it seems somehow even more inert than most of the objects around you. Like, somehow this is more dead than, like, say, the wood of the building surrounding you.
I share that, that there was something, and now there was nothing, and now there's less nothing. It's the absence of anything is essentially what I'm finding.
It's almost like, you think it's almost like there's less soul in that than there is in everything else?
Yes. Could we return to the park? I know we have so much to do. But something's calling me.
My father can wait a day. It's been 8 years so far. If you're in pain, let's go.
To be clear, did Arena actually remove it? If you do, I don't stop. I don't take it out, but if you try to take it out, I do not stop.
She was
you from
only
taking it
offering
out.
to remove it if you wanted her, if you were okay with her doing it. To see if, like, the pain stopped when she took it out.
I'd rather keep it close. It was given to me for a reason, and I can't imagine what else I was supposed to do with it besides this.
But what if it was given to you to hurt you?
Then it has succeeded. And I just close the case over it.
Arena looks
The
very
vines again
concerned.
retighten around it. There is no more pain now. It kind of has gone to that throb that's then just dissipated entirely. But you're left with a kind of an absence, almost like, best way to describe it is like someone had cut off your arm. Like, you'd feel like there should be something there, but there's just an absence.
Like a phantom pain.
Kind of, yeah, exactly.
And I pick up the sword again, and I'm all like, I prefer enemies that we can see. Put it back.
With that, you head off to the park. And we're going to go to a break. Since it's literally 8 minutes to the halfway mark, we're doing the break again 8 minutes before the halfway mark because it times perfectly.
It makes
We'll be
sense,
back in 8 minutes. Feel free to enjoy some fan art and all other stuff like drinking, peeing, whatever you need to do to enjoy yourself.
Enjoy.
It is quite enjoyable. I wish you could bottle that feeling when you really need to go and you finally do. Like,
Yeah.
That is true.
That's true. When you're like been holding it and you,
Yep.
yeah.
So really enjoy your peeing, and we'll be back in 8 minutes. Okay, you should be able to hear us now. Hello, and welcome
Testing.
back.
Hello.
Can they hear you?
Testing.
Yeah, they seem to hear everyone.
Okay.
Hey.
Did it. Our technical issues are
Testing.
technical issues.
Perfect. Hi, welcome back. Everything is going absolutely fine. You can also see more plants around Maggie, and they blend beautifully with the overlay. There you go. Right.
I was noticing that too, that they actually,
Yeah, they
These ones were,
totally
like,
work.
blending
I'm actually
in.
not sure. There is one plant off to the side of you that I actually feel looks like overlay plant. I'm like, no, I know that's a real plant, but it looks like overlay plant. Anyway, hi. Welcome back to the stream. There will hopefully be no more technical issues, but we're going to carry on where we left off. As you head down towards the Royal Preserve, the park that Gan was visiting the other day and discovered a deer that talked to him and told him about his brother and also said that he needed to join some sort of war or something. So, with
The
that
usual.
said, you start heading down there. It's not a particularly long way from the Cunning Warlock. In fact, if I bring up, let's hope this works. It works. Huzzah! Cunning Warlock is about here. And you are heading down here, so not too distant. So, you head down towards the park. Is there anything you want to do or say on the way, or anything you're looking for in particular?
I don't think so, but I do like the fact that we can't move at this point for relatives trying to drag us into wars.
In wars with the gods, no less, like,
Yeah,
they,
like,
but, like,
yeah.
We've nearly got the full set. All we need now is for Arena's brother to be like, I'm fighting a grand war on the Beast Island, and
no,
then
my
we've got the
side
full
is
set.
my grandma is maybe like
God.
something to do with Raven Queen shit. Like that to me
yeah,
is,
maybe, yeah.
yeah.
and then who
Literally-
knows what the hell my brother's doing.
Yep. Yep. I just hope when we get to that island, it is like legit, just like Robinson Crusoe, and everything's just fine. Like there's just elaborate system of tree houses, and he's like living a good life out there.
I want to see him riding a T-Rex.
Yeah, I literally want to see him riding a T-Rex.
Yes.
just like look at it, just get anime eyes the first time. Yeah.
The power.
I never thought that arms were optional. You bring those in and the mouth comes out. It makes sense.
Just imagining like a water version of a T-Rex now, though. Like a little like seahorse,
like
but like the
gills?
top end of the seahorse is just like a T-Rex head, and you can call it a C-Rex.
Thank you all for tuning in. This has been Ascension. We'll see you next week. You know.
There we go.
No, I guess as we're approaching, I do just say to Perrin in the mirror, this I will say out loud. I'll just vague book. In the meantime, any thoughts on our encounter last night? Is there any reason why people of the same type as Masha would be fighting on behalf of Near-Earth?
Well, I suppose anybody might be if they lived here before.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I apologize about the lore. There is no ancestral homeland of the Moon Elves, right? Like an empire, like that's where the Moon Elves are. Like that's not a thing.
There were elves were one of the oldest races, and there was a lot of civilization and civilizing, etc., that went on before the Cataclysm, to the point where most races, in inverted commas, hey D&D, I would like to talk to you about the term race, and that you actually probably want to mean species. Most species had intermingled to a point where there's no real ancestral home for them, unless they split up into ethnic enclaves afterwards for some reason. No one really did, except for the Sun Elves.
That said, is there like a degree of affinity between Moon Elves and the Kingdom of Kael'dwyn because of the Moon Tower?
Slightly, but not massively. It's mostly due to a connection between like them being slightly more religious in favor of Saloon and Shah, and the Moon Tower being Saloon and Shah's tower. Like there is a slight affinity. It's a cultural affinity as opposed to anything, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, Perrin probably like racks his brain like, and then he's like, the only thing I can think of is that there might be some Moon Elves concerned that the Lumarian could eventually claim the Moon Tower from the Kingdom of Kael'dwyn, and so might want to oppose its occupation of Near-Earth to prevent its continuing conquest.
As reasonable as anything, I suppose.
It's a relatively ropey connection. It's all I've got, really.
We do know that Masha was here, though. Do we have any idea what she might have been up to besides tormenting us?
It's hard to really pin down what Masha's up to. It's relatively above our level.
My best guess is it has something to do with the people she's working with, but if we don't know what they're doing or where they are, then I can't say.
I have a feeling I know what they were looking for.
I immediately switch to the psychic crystal when she says this, and I'm like, and that is... I will.
To him only.
The key.
I think that Vanya says out loud, what is it?
It is best that we don't talk about it.
Vanya puts that away for later.
Yeah,
Vanya
there's a
will
sort of
remember that.
knowing
Pops
look.
up along the top of
I
the
think
screen.
there's been a few situations like this that you've encountered already.
Yeah,
so.
no, we keep skirting around the issue, so I feel like Vanya's beginning to build a vague
I think we had a
picture
similar
that, like,
conversation as
Yeah.
this when
Yeah.
you were telling
I
us about the
think
Sable Eyes.
you would
too.
also put
It's
together
like-
with the things you have seen that she kind of clutches at something around her neck, which isn't there anymore, but she was clutching something around her neck in previous times when you've been together, so you might
Yeah.
think that that's connected.
Okay.
Yeah, because Vanya doesn't actually know about the key, right? As far as
I feel like
No, you
at
all
this
been-
point,
I've alluded to it many
Yeah.
times, but no, she doesn't know.
yeah, I think we've danced around the issue enough times now that Vanya's probably aware that like there is an extremely valuable trinket we possess that Masha wants.
this time, I actually, via the psychic crystal, I will just say to Vanya, one of us has something your sister dearly hopes to acquire. And that's all.
Yeah, I think Vanya doesn't respond, but she kind of gives Gatton a look and
Yeah.
tries to be subtle about it.
I'm like, you've earned at least that much.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's just
I'll have
Masha
little a treat.
that
True.
wants it, though. It's like fucking
This-
everybody.
The survivor
Oh, yeah,
wanted
no,
it too. Everybody
everybody
that
that-
finds out about it wants it. Yeah.
Yeah, literally anyone who would learn about the key would be like, yes, I want that, please and thank you.
I mean, if you think
Either
about
to
it,
use it or sell it.
right. I mean, it is kind of like, here's the key to the TARDIS. And you're like, word? Yeah, that is something that would be relevant to everyone's interests. Yeah. Vanya, have we ever talked to you about the survivor?
You've used the phrase around me a bit. I think that I don't know if you've talked out loud thinking that my sister is the survivor. I don't know if that's been an out loud conversation, but I know the word's been used around me before.
We have since confirmed that they're two different people that are kind of grudgingly working together. They're on like opposite sides of the same faction. They're kind of like frenemies. You know what? I would, as we're walking, I would give Vanya a little bit of a lore dump via the psychic crystal. I would tell her that we encountered someone named the survivor, that also was after what your sister was after, but they seem to be at odds with each other. At least they have a difference of opinions of how to achieve their goals.
Yes, because I do remember that, like, a while ago, you all asked to see a picture of my sister
Yeah.
to confirm whether or not they're the same person. So we did do like a scene where we confirmed they weren't the same person.
Right.
But yeah, the Lord up is helpful.
And I guess technically, we said that Masha has
Well,
appeared to
now,
parent a
I
couple
don't
of.
trust anything because someone could look like someone else. Who the
Sure.
fuck knows what anyone looks like anymore?
That is true. I don't remember why we were convinced that they weren't the same, but they just didn't look alike. That's true, but that carries little weight. But
Yeah. In the end, Masha, I think, talked about the survivor and said that they were odds, and so
yeah,
I was inclined to believe it because there didn't seem to be a reason not to believe.
yeah. I know we said that Masha has appeared to parent a couple of times, but did we tell you that we confirmed she was at that inn on the way here? That she was at the inn ahead of us?
Yeah, I think Parent mentioned that the first meeting was at that inn.
Or do we know that was Masha that they saw at the inn and not Vanya? All they knew was a moon elf was here and left ahead of you, and Vanya arrived here before us. I'm like, Vanya, BT dubs, did you crash at a place like 2 days journey that way?
Well, I got the same information, right? That a moon elf
Okay.
was seen. Yeah, so like I got it as well. So I know it's not me.
Okay, right. Yes, full Obi-Wan again. Of course, I saw a moon elf. It was me. Yeah,
I looked in the mirror.
yeah. Hey, it's just, I still find this troubling, though. We know Masha wants what we have, but that would not be enough for her to have come all this way ahead of us in and of itself, unless it was to set some sort of trap for us. I say, slightly rubbing at this soul core now.
Are you saying this out loud to everybody, or
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just
I know you were talking to her in her head, so I was confused.
yeah, the highly classified stuff. Assume I'm telephone gaming us through the psychic crystal when I start naming names. Yeah,
Think she might have been responsible for that thing then?
I don't know how she could have, but she's displayed many capabilities that we did not anticipate.
Well, if we get to the park and we see this thing you saw before, I can use my sight to determine its nature.
We
It's
do.
celestial. I'm inclined to believe it's not anything to do with Masha, though that it doesn't actually rule it out necessarily.
I agree, but we do know that the survivor was a highly accomplished necromancer in something here. is definitely the absence of life.
The fact that it's almost like there's a void in the place of that thing makes you wonder if maybe there is a soul there, but it's being suppressed or consumed or something equally horrible.
I just sort of pat the hilt of the reaping blade, and I'm like, what sort of monster would do such a thing?
Or it's missing its chassis. Sometimes these things are made to work specifically with something. That's how I knew when I got your soul that it was a perfect fit.
Yes. Although, from what I understand, this contains the essence of one of us. If it's here with me, how is something still harming it?
Could be the subject of some kind of curse or other magic.
I would like to ask Pew to detect magic.
Okay.
As this is happening, Perrin probably continues like maybe even something that we couldn't detect.
What am I looking for?
Something is affecting this soul core from
This
a distance.
soul core appears to be inert.
But it isn't. Something is affecting it somehow. Are you aware of any such curses or ailments that could attack us in such a way?
I am not aware of anything currently ongoing with the soul core. If you wanted me to...
Roll Arcana or thing, you could go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, this is what Pew does, so I'm like, Pew, do the thing. Let's see. I gotta pull up Pew's sheet though, but I'm gonna have him look into it. Talk amongst yourselves while I get my Pew sheet out. But
Panic.
We say nothing.
yeah, I'm like, there's so many moving pieces,
People
and
said Pew's voice volume was loud.
Nice though.
so I'm rolling history because we never switched it to Arcana, but it's this is the Arcana roll coming.
Ooh, nice.
3.
It is possible that there may have been some sort of last vestiges. A soul leaves an imprint upon whatever it has been in, and some sort of entity living in that soul in that vessel for over 800 years would leave a connection. Maybe that connection is what is now gone.
I do share that with the others, especially Arena, who has, an artificer now that might mean something more to her than it means to me.
Does it mean more to me?
No, not even check worthy, I'm afraid.
Okay. Where did you find it at? Did it just hand this thing to you?
When the fawn left, it was remained behind. I can't help but think it was left because it was supposed to mean something or reveal something to us, but I am at a loss.
Did it not spark any memories? I know you said before you've been getting memories back.
I mean, I attempted to communicate with it psychically. Is there any other Warforged partition access I can do to try and
I mean, the most you could maybe do, the only other thing I could think off the top of my head that you haven't tried is you could try going into your depower mode and just trying to effectively meditate on it and see if there's a connection there. Maybe there would be some sort of other entity in there that you could maybe contact just by focusing on it and effectively meditating your way into it. But that's the only other thing I could think
tried
of.
to sleep.
Yeah, effectively.
I guess as we're sort of making our way through town, I do just sort of stop for a second, and I'm like, there is one thing I could attempt that I have not tried yet. Similar to when I attempted to enter into the Reaping Blade, I could attempt to meditatively access it.
It is worth a try.
I literally just walk over to the nearest bench or something, and again I draw the sword and I hand it to Parrot.
Okay.
The parent's like, oh yeah, perhaps that is. Oh, we're doing it now. Oh, okay.
Yes, here's his. Or would you rather I wait to get into the park? But I felt it would be unseemly to cause a scene in such a high-class location.
No time like the present, I suppose. And I take the sword and put it on my back with the other swords.
I just
Parrot now
appreciate you
carrying
look like
through
a
great
Rob
swords.
Liefeld character. Yeah, again, there's we need some extra abs in your
It is
arm
actually
now.
just 2 because Mindkiller is just a hilt.
Yep.
True.
That's true.
But I almost want to draw it for the lols, just so I have 3 swords.
Just activate Mind Killer so you get the wispy blade coming out there. It could just
They're all
drag
for
the ground.
monsters. There's a lot of different kinds of monsters.
Yeah, I would like to try that.
Okay. You sit down and you just focus on it, like maybe some sort of deactivated component that you can maybe turn back on. 5 minutes goes past and it doesn't seem to be an effect. It does seem completely inert or dead.
Still nothing.
At least you tried. I think you need to find its chassis.
Yes. Well, I suppose we will retrace our steps and see if any more information awaits us there. I don't understand how something that doesn't exist can feel pain, and something with no soul can scream out to me.
Well, it is connected to you. So,
If anyone can tap into what vestiges might remain, then it will be you.
Gatton,
yeah.
specifically Gatton, based on what Arena said, make a religion or arcana roll. Your choice.
I mean...
He's like, I'm not good at either of them.
Yeah,
I know
it's
you're not
kind
good at either, but if you want a shot, based on what was said,
I would say all things being equal, I'm more likely to comprehend it on a spiritual level than a mystical one. So let's see.
natural 20.
Nat 20. Oh,
You've been saving up for this whole
God.
session. Okay.
Roll for
That's
plot
nice.
device.
It was a tough DC, and you beat it quite drastically. It was DC 15. I was looking for 15. You got 20. That's a 5 more. I give extra information for that. So as Arena says, maybe it was some sort of connection. Yeah. What you were told by the deer is that your brother had fallen. But you realize that death doesn't mean the end. This is a universe where when you die, your soul goes places. And now you feel like something parted from you. You're aware that you were created artificially. Your soul was made artificially. I mean, whether that means that you're less valid than the next person is probably bollocks, but it's not the same way as most people are given souls by a natural biological process, but your soul was created, and maybe you have or felt connection through that object to the soul of your brother who they said had fallen, and something has happened to that soul. You could potentially feel that link. Now, souls aren't technically just a magical thing. There's something beyond that. There's something innate. So it wouldn't come up on detect magic.
I would share that insight and say, this is wholly outside of my experience.
it is something new to me too.
And Arena looks up at the sky.
I feel like someone is watching me.
I realize we are pulled in many different directions, but if I do have a remaining sibling and his soul is being tormented, I have to assist him however I can.
Of course.
And if I can help, I want to.
Start walking a little faster towards the park.
Yeah. Now that we think something dangerous might be happening.
Okay.
Also, I won't have anyone to pick me up and carry me anymore.
Build a bigger Mecha Pietro.
Oh yeah, I can. Are you still in cat form right now, or are you?
No, I'm walking around like Warforged.
I assume you have Pietro with
pick
you.
me up, I guess then. Yeah, we can take Pietro with us.
It's up to you. Either way, it would work.
Do we think? Are we feeling like we're gonna be in danger? Then we maybe.
I mean, only always.
Yeah, maybe we leave Pietro at the inn. Yeah.
He still has a hit point. I can verify how rough that is.
And I don't have Pankobot, so I feel uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
Like if he's on Arena's shoulder and Arena gets like knocked over by angelic power, then might kill him.
And honestly,
take a fireball in the
1
face,
HP, he will die on a 1 HP hit and be he will die on a 2 HP hit because that is double his hit points. So, yeah, maybe a good idea.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, he will die from a 10-foot fall on anything other than a 1 on the D6. So, as you make your way to the park, it's pretty early. We're talking, I mean, Gatton and Vanya got an 8-hour rest, so I guess it's almost getting to midday. Like, the sun is getting quite overhead, but you can see that there is a kind of a thick blanket of this grey cloud, kind of giving what would normally be quite a sunny season and quite a warm area, very much an overcast, gloomy prospect. The rain from last night has kind of petered away, and what you're left with is kind of like a bit of drizzle or damp just everywhere around you. It isn't raining at the moment, but there's definitely a chill wind in the air for this time of year. And as you make your way into the park, everyone seems to be slightly downcast. There is a slight aura of sadness going around. You make your way to the clearing you found before. Again, as you get towards it, I need everyone to make me insight or perception checks. Insight is a slightly easier DC. Up to you.
Theoretically better at perception, so let's see.
Better at insight.
I rolled an 8.
Perception's actually kind of crap.
I accidentally rolled twice, but it was a 24 the first time.
Hey. You're soaking up all our good rolls again.
Tanya, Perrin, both of you noticed that
Again.
there is a certain melancholy to everyone in this place, but it is stronger the further you go in. And also, when you get towards that clearing, you notice that people again are avoiding it. They seem to be naturally veering off, with even more melancholy. Like they look downcast as they move away from it.
And is this seeming pretty supernatural then?
Yes, you can feel it kind of encroaching on you a little bit. It's not like overpowering, but there's definitely the edge of melancholy. Like you will naturally feel your thoughts if you aren't like directing them in a particular area. They're kind of drifting towards that.
There's some kind of magical effect in the area. It's just a feeling of sadness. Perm racks his brains as to if there's any particular god associated with that.
Religion check?
There are
I
plenty
think
of
that-
gods that deal with sadness, but grief.
I think that Perrin wasn't around when the grove was magically like deflecting people, but
Yeah, Perrin
I will
exactly missed that because he was talking to some visitors.
Yeah, but if me and Perrin are both like eagle eyes and like, oh yeah, do you see that? Do you see that? I'll note that happened last time as well before he came to us. Was that when Gatton and I were in the grove, people couldn't go in there magically. That's what I thought at least.
Perrin.
People
on my
can go
religion.
inside?
Perrin,
What did you say?
Arena say?
Oh.
I missed what Arena said.
Who's going first? She said, "You don't think people can go inside?"
No, it seemed. I stood back a bit and let Gatton commune with the deer, I suppose, and as I stood watch, it just seemed like people that tried to come near us, near the grove. It just felt like they were compelled to walk away without their knowing, maybe.
That is strange.
I'm
There are
noticing it
spells-
again.
There are spells that can make people leave an area.
A subtle way of having a private meeting wherever you want. The sort of magic you don't see every day.
And to be able to affect that many people and to be permanent? That is very strong.
I got a 19 on my religion. Do I think of any gods that this might particularly link to?
Sadness is something that there's no major gods associated directly with. The closest you could get to is Shah, who is also goddess of loss. So, like when someone dies, like obviously you pray for the recovery of the soul and going to the correct place. You pray to the Raven Queen, but for loss and the associated pain and suffering that goes with it, that is Shah. But
And that's the moon one, isn't it?
one half of the moon, yeah.
But like neither Melora or Erithis would theoretically have anything to do with that.
I mean, they're gods and goddesses. Their emotions themselves are quite strong and powerful, and you could pray to any one of them for whatever reason, but there's no, definitely, they are not the domains of them. Whereas the only one that would come to mind with this would be Shah, who has the domain of loss. In terms of sadness, no god has a direct dominion over it. There are more minor gods who have dominions over certain emotions or expressions of emotion, but sadness is one that is kind of universal amongst a lot of people. To an extent, Asmodeus, the feelings of depression, sadness, and loss, etc., are good motivators for him to be able to manipulate people, but there's nothing directly tied.
Did I?
Says things to affect, then it's like it could be something to do with Shar, but that seems very unlikely. I don't think they would have any particular interest in us. I suppose any god can be sad or can wield sadness for its own ends.
At some point, I did finally tell you all everything I remembered about meeting Melora and Erithis and the demonic invasion and all that. Like, I did finally tell you all that, right? I know I didn't for a long time, but at some point, I divulged that, didn't I?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, my best guess would be something to do with Melora or Erithis, that they have need of you.
You guys would see for the first time ever that the closest thing you've ever seen Gatton show to nervousness. Like, even on the brink of death, he never seems like he's afraid, especially because usually he's raging at the time. But, And I have Arena up on my shoulder. I actually extend a hand to Perrin and Vanya.
I take it.
Want to make sure you can enter into this place with me. And walk forward.
Through the held hands, Perrin casts protection from evil and good again.
Really grabs.
Post a spell.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I need Perrin to post a spell.
Oh, I thought you said dispel. I'm like, what?
That's what I thought he said too.
Sorry.
I thought you said dispel as well.
Counter spell. Fireball.
Anti-magic zone. Oh no.
Perrin doesn't expect this to matter, but just in case.
Okay.
There's gods in the picture, and I mean, if a god wants to do anything to Gatton, Perrin's not gonna be able to stop him. But it's nice. It makes Perrin feel better.
I appreciate the sentiment.
As you walk in, feel free to make perception or survival checks. Survival DC is lower.
Okay.
Also, sorry, podcast listeners, I haven't shared with you my terrible rolls over this, but they've all been bad.
22.
But that's a 17.
Okay. Everyone but Perrin. Sorry, Perrin.
Uh-oh.
As you look around as you enter this grove, everything seems just a little... I mean, you would say the term sad. Plants look sad when they're just feeling a little lacking of water and they start to droop a little bit. They aren't devoid of color or anything. This isn't some sort of weird situation where the color's been drained. No, but you can see branches kind of bowing a little bit lower. Petals have kind of closed up and the flowers are kind of flopping over to the side. All the grass seems to have just kind of bent a little bit and is not standing up quite as straight as usual. There is a slight melancholy in the air that seems to actually be now infecting the plants around you. Druidcraft.
Yes, of course, Druidcraft. Are there any of those flowers that I made bloom for Vanya last time? Those moon blossoms.
Yes. Would they have? They wouldn't have lasted this long, but yeah, there'd be some.
I just leaned down to a moon blossom and hit it with Druidcraft to make it open up again.
It does open up, but it opens up very tentatively, like very slowly. And then as you kind of do, it kind of droops a little bit to the side, but it's still kind of opening. And in the center of, just across the pond of this like little grove, is that deer.
I have returned.
Let me just check. It's which one of these is
This one. No.
I was about to say,
Give me a
wolf
sec.
voice. Rawr, it's too late.
What happened with my failure? Does that mean I'm missing this, or?
Yeah, you just missed the coloration of the plants kind of drooping a little bit. Like you don't know how
so
much
I
it's
still see
affecting.
the.
Oh, you still see the deer. Yeah, the deer's not trying to
Okay.
hide from you.
I divine sense then. If
Okay.
it matters what I'm looking for, I look for celestial.
Yeah, it's celestial.
Say undead. Roll initiative.
Zombie deer.
Oh,
It's
no.
deer.
My favorite foe. Good. I get that extra bonus D4. Okay.
That is true. You'd be super pumped about Lich Deer.
Ooh, yes.
Turn
Undead.
But it
quietly.
didn't
Perrin.
seem more ethereal, right? Like,
No, it's physically there.
Yeah. Perrin, as you do that and you recognize, yep, this is celestial, it looks directly at you. Like it recognized you used the ability.
oh,
I'm hoping I didn't offend it too much because presumably divine sense is a kind of passive ability that like doesn't do anything to them, but also if they're a god, they might be a bit miffed about it. I don't know. But I do mutter to the others. It's celestial.
Biscuit and Yasi. I have sad news.
This whole place appears to be in mourning.
This is true.
This is all in Gatton's head, FYI, right now. But as that kind of realization sets in, everyone's like, okay, there seems to be a conversation going on here. The deer kind of shivers, and you notice the mouth kind of move in ways that aren't natural for a deer before the words start also echoing out of the deer's mouth. Although there is like a half-second delay between the words being uttered to Gatton and then them coming out of the deer. Which is definitely weird for Gatton, because he can sense the, like, this is a little bit off. Also, apparently there are stacking music issues. Let me just check that out.
and we don't hear this creature talking.
Oh, as I just said, it starts
It's only
speaking.
again.
No, as I just said, it starts speaking out loud.
Now it's starting to speak. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. I've got rid of
That's the,
stacking
that's
music.
the
like
part I
it
was
or
trying to understand.
Like an echo, I think is what it's almost
Yeah.
like. I hear it and then you guys hear it
Yeah,
slightly after.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Your brother who fought alongside us. Fought valiantly, but fell. It appears their soul was not allowed to pass on. The forces arrayed against us took them. They wanted information.
What manner of foe slays not just the body, but captures the soul? I say without a hint of irony of the sword that is on my back right now.
I mean, the deer definitely recognizes that and, like, definitely looks at your sword for a moment.
Many, including yourself, but at least you do not draw out the pain and suffering of one who should have passed. It's not how it was meant to be.
Where is he? Might he be recovered?
He is no more. Not in any life nor death. They rent his very soul asunder.
800 years to find out I was not alone one day too late.
You still have the sister who walks this world, but she is in her infancy. She is not ready.
Where is she?
Safe.
Good. Where might I locate those who have slain my brother? I would have my revenge.
That is what I must ask of you. But know this. Here, when you are slain, your soul is directed to the Raven Queen, and thence when it meant to go. Where we fight, your soul cannot be guaranteed such a fate.
Hearn will mutter, Ursuline.
You obviously know more than you should. Be careful with that knowledge. Eren, son of a Lumen.
I turn and I look at you all and I say, I cannot turn my back on these events that have been put in motion, but I cannot ask any of you to risk your immortal souls. I've lived long enough, perhaps too long. That is not the case for you.
Dang.
Happening.
Oh, could you hear me?
I heard you.
Oh.
Maggie, whatever your last comment was, I don't think it came through.
Oh. She said,
What do you mean? What does that mean?
or what do you mean? Or what are you saying? That's what she said. What are you saying?
I was preserved by Erithus and Melora for some reason, some greater purpose. And I believe it is about to be revealed. I may have to walk this path alone.
Place where souls cannot survive. Or pass on, at least.
But I just found you. I don't want to lose you.
Our time together, Arena, has been the only peace I have known in my long existence. I will never be able to thank you for that properly.
You just see her like eyes well up and like a little tear come down.
I'm sure it will only be temporary. one more battle to fight. Can't possibly take too long, right? Considering our lives.
You are my bestest friend.
And you're mine.
And I will never forget you. And she like hugs you.
He very much like puts a hand on her as well. And looks back at the deer and is like, who are you really? And what are you asking of me?
I am one who found out something terrible long ago, and who had to do something terrible, and gave up my burden, my duty, along with my husband, fight this war.
Is Perrin looking to make a religion roll?
I was about to say, does that mean anything to me?
Yeah, I was
parents
wondering.
like saying, husbands, gods, what? It's 9. Parents too busy being like, I'm looking at a god deer thing right now, and there's stuff happening, and maybe Ursulane's on fire or something.
I will say you can make assumptions based on what you know, but I will not give you any bonus on the roll there.
I can't remember who's married to who, and
This is quite some time ago, so none of those rolls are going
This
to
is-
quite get anything. However, Arena, you do know that there were gods who have stepped away, but you're not too sure. This dates well before even your grandfather in terms of
Gotcha.
timeline.
that was where I was going. Is there were 2 gods that were husband and wife that stepped away from being gods. Was it around the time of the Cataclysm?
You didn't score on the roll, but if
He's
you
like,
know
"I'm not
it
gonna
or you
tell
assume it or from stuff you've read that you remember, I'm not allowed that.
I think it was.
I can't
I
have
think it
anything.
was like in the early aftermath of the Cataclysm, if I remember rightly. So that's probably where Perrin's at.
Okay.
But he can't remember the damn name. Otherwise, he'd be able to say it, and that would be really cool because he'd seem smart.
I feel you.
If it's just the name you're looking for, feel free to make another religion roll and I will give you a
Okay.
name because you have so diligently got a lot of other stuff by looking.
The name of the god who was the wife of the other one that both left after the Cataclysm.
Okay, I was looking for DC 10 just for the name. You're looking for Dawn and Arroway.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Damn it, Arrow was bouncing around in there, but I'm like, aren't they still going? Is that one of the...
Both Iomade and
Perrin-
Serenray took over and have been for several hundred years before the birth of Arena by a long way.
Yeah, you see Perrin kind of rack his brains for a second, then look up and say, Arroway. This is what you've been
Perrin.
up to.
Yes. We had to do a
What
terrible
is happening?
thing, and there were consequences to what had been done.
What is happening in Ursulane? I'm assuming that's where this all comes back to.
What did you do?
The cataclysm, Arena Cogdear. Many people died. To save others, an agreement made. But it is nothing to be proud of. But a threat was also made, and lies in Ursuline. A hole in this reality, as you well know. That hole has to be defended. Isketinya, see. Do not take upon yourself this burden lightly. There is no foreseeable end to this war. And in this place, no guarantee that your soul will not be destroyed by those we fight.
If this boundary were to go undefended, should your enemy succeed, what would it mean?
The end.
Then my one soul in the defense of everyone that I care about, looking at my group here, is a worthy wager. 800 years and I've not fallen yet, so...
A map in Andorra.
Be careful with
source
those
of-
words, Perrin Valderel.
I think I understand now.
Do you?
The war is against the New Dawn, or something worse.
Something far worse and far older.
They are being misled, aren't they?
We are all being misled. However, by giving up our mantle, we are more free in our action and more free in our realization, and less likely to be polluted by what we fight. That is why it is unlikely that those who will fight will ever return. And you must be careful who you tell. Were you to tell my sister's old lover,
She looks at Perrin.
or the upstart who overthrew the dead god,
Looks at Arena and Vanya.
you could change them. Be careful.
I understand.
My brother. What fate befell his body? In what form did he exist?
He thought in his old body, but one which we had adapted with some aid. We have made adjustments for you, Esket and ARC. You have been granted power from our towers. This should be able to interface to an extent with the abilities we have imbued upon your soul.
When would I be called upon to depart?
My husband fights alone. Not long. Even he cannot stand for long. We gave up much power to fight this war.
I turn and I look at the three of them and I say, clearly, we have been called upon by fate to play a significant role in whatever is to come. If I go to hold this gate, can you attempt to find a way to seal it, however long it takes?
Here I may never possess the power to do such a thing, but I can try.
merely but a boulder in the stream. At some point, there must either be a dam or there will be a flood.
I'll do it.
I look at Arena and I say, via the psychic crystal, remember you told me of the writings higher up in the Raven Queen's tower, those that you could not access.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps in the days to come, you will find something there that might be of use. After you find your brother, come and find me.
She just nods.
Sort of look down at my hands. I'm like, It seems I am due for further modifications. And you see the chest compartment opens up again, and I actually unhook the psychic crystal, and I just hand it to Arena. I do not believe I will be needing this anymore.
She takes it with her one hand and puts the other one over it. And like clutches it close to her.
And I unhook the wooden breastplate and I put it down on the ground. Vanya, I do not know if this would be an upgrade for you or not, but I would offer it as a token of remembrance.
I will wear it with honor.
And then I turn and look at Perrin and I say, the only other thing I have to offer you, Perrin Veldarel, is the thing you need the least. And I drive the reaping blade down in the ground in front of me. Saying, you were probably the best to wield this all along. I did not want you to have to deal with the burden of the destruction it can cause. But apparently, destruction is what is in all of our futures.
If I wield it, I shall do so with great care.
Be careful when you sleep. It will call to you.
Good luck.
Nessar Kiv.
Yes, great warrior.
You are now the greatest warrior of us all. Please watch over them.
I will do so. Jack,
Yes.
I am unable to see. I can hear your voice. What transpires? I am unable to contact Perrin.
I go to a glorious battle, one that may well rage for eternity.
Very well. A glorious end.
A glorious end. And I just sort of like look at them all and say, until we meet again, friends, save this world. Save all the worlds.
Perrin just kind of does a bit of a nod with I suppose, a bit of a bow. doesn't know what else to say.
I turn back and look at the deer. What do I have to do?
Walk with me. Arena Cogdeer, I'm sorry to take your friend from you, but you've looked after him well, and your family before you. He could have not experienced normal life in so good hands as yours. Be careful. The road you set upon is more dangerous. You jeopardize not just your body and your mind, but your mortal soul. That key may be a simple device, but it opens up way too many doors for most people.
Like, tears trickle down her face, and some of them touch the ground.
The last person I spoke about such power with overthrew a god. Baron Velderel.
To them.
There are certain restrictions upon my kind. However, by giving up my mantle, I have more freedom of action, as I assume you have guessed. I ensured your freedom from the city when first you fled.
Thank you.
I just hope that you can reach her and turn her back from her path.
Who? My mother?
No. One I used to call a friend. Anya. You now know things, and as a purveyor of secrets, I know that you should, by your oath, share these. I ask you not to. She is a young goddess, but more powerful than any divine being has a right to be for her age. Her domain is important, and more important than maybe any other in this coming conflict. You tell her what you saw here, you will pollute her. I know I ask you to go against everything you have sworn. You saw what happened to your sister when she gained the very same knowledge.
I understand.
Adam.
Yeah, Gatton slides his health ring off and hands it to Perrin.
Do you say the healing ring? The health ring?
The one that lets us know our health, you know?
That is good, because I realize currently one of them is with Brondel, so we would need that one to summon the
Yeah.
stuff back.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so if anyone goes cross-planar, you can't get it back.
Right.
What is that voice?
Also, if anyone goes cross-planar, you can't get it back. There you go.
Right.
Ah.
Just sort of look up at the sky. They remember this place. Perhaps when you return to it, I might hear you if you call.
Rena looks up.
And I take her and I put her down very gently. And I just say, you are in fact destined for great things, Irina Cogdear. Clearly, all the gods are watching you.
But who's going to watch you?
I reach out and I just give her a hug.
The deer walks up to you, Arena and Gatton.
I will. And my husband too.
Nuts.
His brother
Oh my
fought
God.
at our side for over 800 years. Practically family.
This means as long as you all arrive to reinforce me in less than 799, all will be well. And give Perrin the warrior grip. Okay. You are becoming a great leader, Perrin Veldarel. And no matter what you might think I believed, your compassion is not a weakness. It never has been.
For everything you've done for me. Perrin momentarily thinks back to the time he was like traipsing around in some ruin in Gawaras and came across this weird looking core thing. You have traveled with me to places I never thought I could go.
The real adventure still lay ahead, my friend. Be brave.
Apparently so.
Vanya, I
Yes.
wish there had been time for more walks.
I was thinking about how you said our paths had just recently crossed and now they're already diverting. It makes me sad.
Well, in the fullness of time, you will know where to locate me, although I think no flowers bloom there yet.
I think she gives him a hug and then like the slightest, lightest little peck on the cheek. I'm sure you will make them bloom. You tend to do that.
And with that, he just sort of nods and stands up and looks at the deer. I am prepared.
Good.
And behind her, the biggest tree in the clearing, this large, towering oak that kind of overshadows half the clearing with its bough. There seems to be a gap between bits of bark, stretches up the course of the tree with a shimmering gold and green light kind of playing out, and then it starts to crack open, revealing just a pit of light playing across all of you.
I will hold the portal. I will see you all soon. And actually, I open the chest compartment and I remove my brother's broken core and hand it to Arena.
Arena takes it.
See that somehow, some way, his sacrifice is honored.
I will. Take care of yourself, Gatton.
care of each other. And I turn to go.
You turn and look down at the deer. It looks up at you. Where we go, this body cannot. We have a new one for you.
I turn and look at Arena and I say, perhaps you can salvage something for Pietro. He always enjoyed riding in this one.
You would be honored.
And I just sort of sit down on the ground so I don't just like collapse.
I imagine, like, since your plant, like, form is kind of like wooden and planty, like you'd freeze in place, stationary, like a tree.
Wait. What I want to do, if you remember back in episode 1, when I would stand in the backyard so the birds could rest on my arms.
Yep, I thought you were going to do that. Yep.
Just hold them up and stop moving.
The deer walks towards you. And the soul core, as you look down, begins to twist. Vines pull away from it. Little bits of bark slowly peel back. And the soul core pops out. And Gatton's eyes go dead. What stands before you is no more than a tree or plant. Gatton is no longer present. As the glowing blue end of this very fine metallic object is brought down and grasped by each blade of grass very gently, and then they slowly pass it to the next blade of grass and across, and it just flows over the ground towards the base of the tree. The thorn goes up to Gatton, bows its head.
May you stand in tribute, all of those who your soul will save.
And as you watch very much before you, birds from all around start flocking down, landing one by one on the hands, shoulders, the upraised arm, and the head. As slowly Gatton's form elongates, and you can hear the sound of wood growing, as very quickly Gatton turns from just being Gatton's humanoid form into a longer, more upstanding tree. The back and shoulders go up, branches come off, the arms elongate out, until standing before you is what is a huge, enormous tree, standing 25, 30 meters tall, and wider than that, across from branch to branch. Gatton's face still very much visible in the trunk in front.
It's a me tree.
I think Vanya has the maybe it's the plus of, not having known Gatton her whole life, and so I think that she just sort of puts like a soft hand on both Perrin and Arena as like a comfort to both of them.
As behind, the soul core goes through into the puddle of light in the tree behind. The thorn walks away. You are left with Gatton's husk in front of you.
Rena kind of runs forward and like kneels before the tree and just kind of starts crying.
Is the melancholy effect still in place? It might be hard to tell now.
Make an insight check on yourself. 15. To an extent. It's more like it's maybe changed a bit. It's more like regret rather than just pure loss now.
Okay.
But it starts to diminish as the thorn is getting further and further away. Also, Dave, you've turned into a grey square. Are you dead?
You're muted.
You're muted.
I was trying to do something dramatic. Yes.
Oh, okay. Go do something dramatic.
It's not working yet. Promise incoming though. Continue.
For a second, Perrin lets things sink in and then probably says, God's help us. My mind is not a secure enough vessel for the knowledge I now possess.
The tree
And
behind.
I think he steps forwards and he takes hold of the sword that Gatton stuck into the ground and says, I'll be needing this.
Okay. An undisclosed location. An indeterminate amount of time later. Captain. You begin to wake up. It's slow. Ponderous. As if you're finding yourself waking up after... The only real thing I can describe it as is some sort of very long all-night bender. You're trying to figure out where your arms and legs are, like, what's still here, where are you? Everything is different. You are different. You find yourself feeling much more ponderous, but also fast combined with ponderous. There is more weight to your action. You feel everything is smaller, or you feel larger. The world around you is slowly coming into focus as your eyes begin to take in the scene. Message comes up in your HUD. Everything seems to be online. This is reminding you very much of the form you had 800 years ago. It says, let's get in your C.
Online, ready for duty.
As you start to shrug your shoulders and stand, the metal framework around you that once was an old ruined building or warehouse of some sort shakes. Standing in front of you, noticeably even a little bit shorter than you, are two humanoid figures. One of them is an elven male. Long blonde hair that seems to shine with a golden light that almost blinds to look at and starts to white out your eyes. He holds the long spear aloft, it glows of a radiance in the heat of the sun. White robes that are painfully bright to look at. The figure next to him, a half-elf, with long flaxen gold hair and a wreath of what appears to be plants around her neck. And in one hand, somewhat starkly at odds with her attire, despite her green dress, is a very chunky morning star, the big metal head. She looks up at you.
An arrow away.
It is good to meet you, Ascension C.
Thank you for restoring me to what I once was. I had forgotten my true form.
We made certain adjustments, and some to you to make this possible. Your druid form now extends to this body.
Yeah, when she says that, I immediately attempt to wild shape into the biggest thing I can conceive of.
Yep. You turn into, I guess the biggest thing you could originally turn into is maybe like the direwolf or something. And so as you fixate on that, the thing you normally use for combat, you can feel plates elongating and moving. You feel yourself hunching over and moving back. Your head switches forwards and your jaw extends. And you now stand taller than a building. Large metal wolf.
I do not need to know how numerous our enemies are. simply where they are.
And of that, you hear a howl. Not that of a dog or a wolf. Howl of rage, pain, and fury that seems almost unearthly. And it's numerous. Many voices as one from over the nearby ridge. And with that, going to end here. Slightly early.
Would like to rage.
We will, however, have Vanya back with Arena and Perrin before we go. As Vanya, you gotta go.
Yeah, it's like bad timing. They just lost their friend.
You
but I'm
gotta
like,
say goodbye
oh.
to even more friends who you love.
Back in the part, Perrin has moved up to Arena, is kind of like hugging her from kind of diagonally behind. Though Perrin himself is kind of staring off into the distance, his mind is kind of elsewhere.
Yeah, she's like holding onto his arms that are holding her. And she's like, wipes the tears away.
I think Vanya walks up to them and kind of gets down and says, soon I will also have to go to pursue other avenues. I am being called to duties I cannot deny, and I must also find my sister. But I will let you know I will never be far. Your friendship, all three of you, I look up at the tree, has been such a beautifully unexpected light in my life. And you all have made me feel like a person in a way that I have not for a while. So though I have other duties, other responsibilities, I will not be far from you. I promise.
Arena gets up and hugs Vanya.
I give Arena a very tight hug.
I stand up and say, it's been an honor to travel with you. Thank you for everything you've done for us.
Of course, and if you ever need information, a helping hand, I am easier to get a hold of than you might think. Just reach out and I'll be there. Especially with your parents and with your family, with everything, both of you.
God's my parents.
Yes.
Arena nods.
It's kind of a strange laugh from Perrin as he ponders on the fact that his parents are, like, at least one of them is like, we have to have a revolution against the occupiers, and Perrin was just thinking about, like, clashes of the gods against ancient evil forces. He has to take a kind of moment to step back down to that level. If you find your sister, do what you can, I suppose.
What if we find her first?
Then I will try to tell her that she's wrong, because now I know she is. Except if I tell her why, that would get us all killed, so I'm gonna have to be careful.
If you find her before me, and I think I'm insinuating what Arena maybe means by that. I trust your judgment.
I'll do my
If
best.
she is too far gone.
There's a realization on Perrin's face. And he doesn't respond, he just looks down.
Though we may not always want to accept it. The world, existence, millions of people are worth more than one life. And if my sister is standing in the way of that, then so be it. I think Vanya like takes a moment to herself because I don't think she likes saying that, but she also doesn't want to hinder something they may have to do.
Arena nods and then puts her hand on the tree and says,
I understand.
We just sit sad around Gatton.
yeah. And I think Arena does a prayer
Ooh.
to the Raven Queen to protect Gatton.
Okay.
Concerned, I'm not sure if that's a good idea.
Do you want to say that out loud as she starts her prayer? Like,
I think Perrin. Actually, yes. I think if she starts the prayer, Perrin puts a hand on her shoulder and says, I'm not sure we can do that now.
There is always a place and space and time for prayer.
The forces that we are now involved with, we must now tread very carefully.
And our faith must be even stronger.
Perrin takes the hand off her shoulder and lets her do her prayer, but he kind of stands back and looks concerned.
He's furiously writing.
trying to get my pen to
know.
work.
Yeah,
It
him
stopped
pulling-
mid-note.
Him
know if I
pulling
should
the
be
pen cap off. I was like, oh no, oh no.
Well, things were said.
She would
and
do it.
did
She
a
would
thing.
pray. Do a prayer.
I think mistakes
To
are being
protect him.
made.
I think if the day before they go to Perrin ends up being we just sit and we take space, I think Vanya would stay with them for all of that and before she parts. And she would take the breastplate. And I don't know if it improves on her armor, but I think she would find a way to utilize it. Unless the two of you need it.
I don't think I have any use for it.
Doesn't
It's
really
like
add-
wisdom. I think
the
it's like
thing,
wisdom
yeah.
based. Yeah, so I think Vanya would try to find a fun way to utilize the magic of it.
Unless we want to give it to little Pietro.
Yeah, if little Pietro wants it. Pietro, wisdom based
It wouldn't,
character.
it wouldn't add anything to Pietro, sadly. It might add something to Vanya, but I was going to suggest if you don't end up using the side crystal, or if you bump something else to the side crystal, sell whatever you bump for it or it, and give the proceeds to Pietro as Pietro's trust fund for the tower.
Pietro's a trust fund kid.
Okay.
Trust fund.
I do have a question as Vanya heads off into the night. Vanya, knowing what you know and knowing that it's unsafe to spread this information, even to your clergy and the guards, would you go back? Or would you... You can stay a cleric of the Raven Queen, no problem. You don't have to be part of a formal religion to be still religious and affiliated with a god. But do you go back to the clergy, or do you become effectively like a separate entity and not go back? Or do you go back and then pretend nothing happened?
I think for now, she goes back and pretends nothing happened because I think the connections are good. I think that she still has a deep faith, and I also think that she owes so much to the church. I don't know if she could abandon it quite easily, but I do think that she will respect if not for her sister's sake, but for Gadden's sake, I think she would respect the wishes and not say anything. But I think she would go back. Yes.
Okay. In which case, as Arena and Perrin are left, having had a day of mourning alongside Vanya, where I assume much hearty food and drink was drunk and eaten in celebration of Asgarten, and Vanya then heads off into the night, we're going to go forwards a few days, maybe a few weeks, with Vanya, because I have important things that may have just been done.
What?
It's probably a few days later as you contact your contact in the city. You are asked to come in for a formal debriefing. You find yourself at a safe house, one of the many that they own within the city. Several members of the Raven Queen's clergy. All obviously part of the Sable Eye. And you were asked very pointedly, where is getting your seers?
Oh, geez. I don't even know how to lie. Like, I don't even know what possible lie I could pull out of my... I think I say I don't know.
Make a wisdom save.
Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, jinkies. Oh, jinkies. That is a 9.
You are aware that you cannot lie. You may choose to stay silent, but it is obvious.
I stay silent.
It is obvious. Vanya, this is going to end a few ways. How would you like it to end? As this is kind of an off-screen cinematic thing that is going to affect the story.
What are the few ways?
I mean, you could just break out and run away. You could tell the truth. You could try and say, I can't tell you for your own good or something. How would you like this to go?
I think I would try to plead and say I can't tell you because of promises made that are out of my control. And like I think I would try that angle first, and if that doesn't work, then
okay, make a persuasion roll.
I don't want to die, so I think I'd run away. $13.
They're very polite. And they say that you may continue about your business, but they are concerned. There is important things at play, and Gatton is involved, and they need to know to help him.
I don't think he needs their help. Is the thing. I think that if they know, it'll make it worse. That's at least the impression I got.
Yep. No, your thing stands. That's just their response to it. If you wish to then, open up more, that's up to you. Or if you just wish to leave it there.
I think I would leave it there. But if they try to kill me, I'll run away. Yeah, like, okay. I won't let them.
Make an insight check.
If it's easier to silence me, I don't know.
18. They aren't going to kill you. But they're certainly concerned and they're worried. Like, they know big things are going on. They know some more than you. But it obviously appears they don't know some that is very vital that apparently you might know and they think you know. And they're not sure about you, considering your sister. You are under suspicion. Now, if you choose to continue in this line of work, that you passed the check, etc., you're happy to continue. Or you could be like, I think it's safer if I just disappear into the night. You can choose to disappear into the night. You are spy, shape-shifting ranger with pass route trace. Disappearing into the night is like second nature.
Honestly, dramatically for the story, it probably makes the most sense for her to slink away for now.
Okay. And with that, Anya disappears
into
the night.
Which is scary, but...
that's where we end today then. With both Gatton gone off to fight some sort of massive clandestine war, and Vanya now apparently in the firing line of some massive clandestine intelligence operation. And with Arena, Perrin, mourning at least one friend.
It's like the end of Infinity War.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the end game.
Some queen went telling everybody everything. The Raven Queen was like, got on the phone and was like, you better
I appreciate. She's
pull
like,
you better pull their ears and figure out what they know.
she's like, I pray to the
Someone asked
Raven
me
Queen.
to bless this guy, and he's not on the map. That doesn't can't not be on the map.
You're like, I pray to the Raven Queen, and your grandmother's somewhere like.
Oh,
He's where now?
what's she praying for? Protection of Gatton. Yeah, pretty standard Sunday prayer from Arena. Sure, look up Gatton. He's... What? Someone give me the Temple of the Raven Queen. I want to know where he is. I want him dead. I want his mother dead. I want his family dead.
If I'm allowed to say a little PS,
Sure.
I think that when Arena is like, oh, I have to run away, not Arena, Vanya's like, a lot of Russian names. When Vanya's like, oh, I have to run away because this is gonna get me in hot water, I think she would try to send a letter to Arena that's like, the church is you're in their sights. Be careful. I do think Vanya would try to send that
Arena,
to her
you would
before
probably
she...
just wake up with that on the pillow next to you, Ever. Vanya, in terms of sneaking around and clandestine stuff, Vanya pushes far above her weight, so until they can get specialists in from somewhere else, she'll be able to get through to you. So you get that message.
And I can tell it's Vanya's handwriting.
I mean, I assume Vanya would also include something, reference or personal things, etc.
I'll relay the letter that I got to Perrin, and then I burn it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just feel like if they're gonna come for me, they're gonna come for her too and try to figure out what's up. So I didn't want her to be surprised.
Seeing the letter, Perrin will say, "We'll be on the help of the gods now."
Okay. And with that,
What the fuck?
Oh, jeez.
God.
So, announcements. As you might have guessed, Dave is unfortunately leaving us because Dave has things to do and places to be and people to see and fighting an unending war in a different parallel dimension, saving the entire world or whatever. Standard Saturday night things for Dave.
Literally.
Thursday night. So, yeah, unfortunately, we have no more Dave. But hopefully you'll be able to come back and show them your new mecha body at some point when they can do that stuff. That level 5
go
low.
full Pacific Rim, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no,
Oh
that's
my gosh.
unfortunately that's even though I reject the lie of linear time, I am occasionally constrained by it. So yeah, I'm gonna be needed elsewhere on Thursdays. That's why I had to bow out now. But yes, I'm glad my boy's getting to be an ultramech fighting an endless war, which I feel like is something he'd be happy about. So
It's what he's built for, right?
literally.
Makes sense.
Literally built for this. But yes, thank all of you. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for having me. It's been a wonderful experience. I was really, 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 really hoping he wasn't going to die in the tower last week. Just have that be that. Like, no, so close to narrative closure.
I know, when we were so close to dying too, and it was like, no, we would have missed out on all this lore too. I think it's crazy. I mean, we'll have a lot to talk about in the after show today.
We
Definitely a lot.
shouldn't know this lore. This is too much. Wipe my brain.
excited.
Take it away.
I'm excited for the time we get to see Gatton later down the line when we're
But to
high
say,
level.
you mentioned Endgame. It really is going to be on your left, like you guys
Yeah.
like level 19
Just
doing all
everyone's
this stuff.
portaling
I mean,
in
I've
and
been
shit.
working
Cool,
on that
like,
plan for the whole series.
all
I'm just
the
gonna be-
ga-
the end game.
Yeah.
all of the guests that have ever been on all show up with like their level 20 badass selves being like,
I legit will show up looking like Mecha Godzilla though, because I wanted to be a dinosaur the whole time. So,
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like that's gonna be
Yeah.
my brother.
yep. Yep.
So, yeah, that's the thing. Right, those are announcements. Time Zone Weirdness ends next week, and Ascension Tower Floor GM notes coming soon. I mean, there aren't many because they left halfway, and most of it was self-evident, but there will be some. In addition, Mass Effect Mercs Chapter 2 is coming soon as well. As mentioned, it is now Saturdays rather than Sunday, and it will start on the 10th of April and be going for 4 episodes. So, continuing with the same cast as before, and be glorious. Okay, that all said and done. Yeah, I guess. Dave, who are you? What do you do? And where can we find you?
Everywhere. Yeah, just well, Thursdays after this show, after Ascension, after the after show, you can catch the Black Dice Society, which will be an official Ravenloft stream. So once you're done here, switch over to D&D YouTube and get your feelings beat up for a few more hours every day. And otherwise, follow me on the Tweetagrams at BDaveWalters. I'm somewhere doing something almost 7 days a week. And thank you all again.
Okay.
Also, bonus points for whoever said Asgatan Yar Tree in chat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
We were busy having feels. I didn't want to say it at the moment, but on the inside, I was like,
Also, not to be outdone, this, of course, being Mackenzie's second stint as a guest.
Yes.
Mackenzie, you've been absolutely wonderful. And Vanya has been an amazing character, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sorry that you always seem to join us for some really emotional episodes with major plot points.
It's just
Wait,
Arena's always crying.
Arena's grandpa's death is the last time I was here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, wow.
Maybe you have been Masha this entire time because you just bring emotional torment with you whenever you
I bring
arrive.
daylight savings time and emotional torment. Those are my
What you're saying is you bring daylight savings time.
Exactly.
Period. Yeah.
Who are you? What are you doing when we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Mackenzie Wilkes, and you can also find out more about the shows I do. I do a couple other podcasts, mostly with D&D 5e and Starfinder stream as well on Saturdays. You can find all that at mackenziewilkes.com.
Okay. And given the amount of crying, Maggie, who are you? What do you do when we find you?
I'm an emotional wreck. You can find me being an emotional wreck at Margaret Crone in all of the places. It's pretty easy to find me. I always let you know whenever I'm live and what I'm doing. I do a lot of tabletop RPG stuff, so if that's your jam, then I got you. And I also make video games for a living. I'm currently working on a game called Ashes of Creation, and you can find it at Ashes of Creation in all of the places. And thank you so much, Dave. It has been a pleasure playing with you. I hope we get to sit at a table again someday. And of course, Mackenzie, is awesome seeing you again. I'm sure we'll see both characters in the future someday.
I told you, Maggie, when cons become a thing again, we got to do the literal anime shot. If I literally will put you on my shoulder and we can do that whole thing.
Oh,
awesome.
To meet everyone at a con would be a mighty great adventure.
What is meeting? What is con?
What is
I do not know
other
these
people's
things.
faces?
Like the thing about planes earlier, I don't get it. Like we're
Yeah.
different planes of reality is what?
Yeah. And of course, Bentham, the great sword wielder.
Yeah, all of the great swords.
Also,
I
this
have
new one is
reached
also
maximum
attunement.
great sword.
It will be 3 attuned
Yes.
great swords if you do that.
Triple attuned great swords. This may actually happen. I need to merge
One in
them
each
into
hand
one
and then just
mega.
one in your mouth, like ah.
No, you just have one poking up your back like
So
Boba
many.
Fett, and you just go to headbutt somebody.
I gotta-
and that's
Yep.
how
I
you
gotta,
stab
I
with
gotta
the third
split
one.
my arms into 2 like General Grievous. Get one more and then just like.
There you go.
whirlwind
No, the last
blade
one's for the
at
magical
people.
cigar, where you're just like ah.
He has to have enough where he just has a chair of swords that he sits in.
Yeah, no, this
and
is all for the Iron Throne.
Yeah, that's what it's.
Literally the Iron Throne. Yep.
Yeah. Except for a mobile vehicle.
Mm.
Like,
Magic carpet, but made of swords.
well, have you ever played, what's it called? Get Out of Hell?
No.
Okay. There's a chair with like a machine gun and you can like drive around. It's ridiculous. But that's what I'm imagining, but with swords.
Okay, yeah. So I'm Bentham, and I probably do stuff somewhere. I've got channels in places called Mangleport Gaming for terrible reasons, and there I play games. There's been lots of multiplayer Valheim streams, but now there may be other things like Satisfactory because there was an update, or Barotrauma because there was probably an update. There usually is, and other stuff like that. Lots of multiplayer Friday stuff, and then maybe other things elsewhere. Who knows? We'll see. And I'm on here too. I'm on Roll for It a lot. That's it. Hey, where can we find you?
Hi, you can find me at youtube.com/Enter Elysium, where I'm currently playing Evil Genius 2. I literally just started my actual playthrough ahead of the release on Tuesday today, playing as the mastermind scientist Salaka, because science is great. As the mug that Maggie Gotsney can attest to. Science, it's like magic, but real. Just saying.
I got you that mug like so long ago.
It's amazing. I've chipped it like really badly because I threw it at myself. But yeah. Anyway, I use my level 2 science slot to do that. What?
How do you even throw a mug at yourself enough to?
Yeah,
So like I always like put my tea bag in the mug, and then I press the tea bag out, but I always pull it towards me to press out. But apparently I just wasn't holding the mug hard enough, and I pressed the tea bag out pretty hard, and I just wasn't paying attention. And I ploing against my abs, which apparently I was like, I'm pretty pleased with them. I didn't feel that, and it smashed off and broke on the floor, and I chipped it. And my ultimate outcome of that was like, okay, apparently the abs are doing good. I'm pleased with that, but also I cracked the mug, and it makes me sad.
Pros and cons.
I've
Pros and
experienced
cons.
those.
I like to look at the silver
simultaneously
lining.
happy and sad about this.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like you gotta look for the silver lining.
I can't say I can relate, but
I mean, look, like at the end of the day, I'm like, look, the mug gets a lot of use. It is eventually going to suffer wear and tear, but ultimately, it had the silver lining of making me feel good about myself. So there we go.
I like the comment. Weird flex, but okay.
Since then, I have made sure not to do that, but it totally will happen again sometime. I throw mugs at myself, apparently. So, yeah, also twitch.tv/Enter Elysium. Saturday, I am also streaming Evil Genius, and I'll be doing the second part of my... I can't remember which Mastermind we're playing, but it's also another pre-release stream of a different campaign. So there's a lot of Evil Genius at the moment, and I did also start one of my recordings today by going, hello, I'm Evil Genius. Weird start, but it's okay. So now I feel like it after this, breaking everyone's hearts. But again, I want to just say thank you so much for Dave for making this amazing, and also Mackenzie for really, really adding to the feels every time you show up and we have a heavy feels moment. Like, it's just...
Of course.
So with that, we're going to head off. I'm just going to go pick up the tips for today, because there were a few tips. And... Boop. So, there was one tip from Finley Shards for $50.
That was a very powerful episode. Thank you to our cast and GM for another engaging show. Hopefully we'll meet up with all our friends again soon.
There you go. Thank you very much, Finley Shards.
And then there were
appreciate
two.
Oh, you got Pietro. He's level 0, but yeah.
2.5.
Oh, Pietro.
Calling it now, Lich Pietro.
Just do a training montage and get him up to level 5. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Throw him through some rips in reality a few more times till he comes out normal size.
I mean,
And with more than 1 HP.
you know, go to the magic item shop and be like, do you have anything for permanent enlarge? And they'll be like, yes, it costs $1 million. And you're like, ah. Anyway, we're going to go do an after show. Thank you very much, everyone, for being amazing. And until next time, toodaloo.